To the tune of OPP, naughty by nature. No time for idle chitter chat and petty iterations. Teaming to me exponentially like I'm Barack's inauguration. Erratic calculations, nah, I runs the infinite. Only way I slow me down is with some calculating by a limit. They might no longer show the work to answer self-evidence. Some truth should be proclaimed in the Declaration of Independence. Things not instantaneous can be approximated by adding up our changes till everything integrated. Word to my partners in calculus. Yo, you down with BCP? BP, yeah, you know me. Integral, grind exponential. You down with BCP? That's the way we rotate radiannually. You down with BCP? Down with BCP? Down with BCP? You down with BCP? That's the way we do things limitlessly. BCP. You down with BCP? That's the way we do things limitlessly.
PJ, he's like, you gotta slow down your dance. So I'm like,
well, PJ, you look pretty good tonight. You look like you lost some weight, dude.
No, I definitely put on some weight for sure.
You look like a little bit like
a little younger looking now.
Did you look like an anti-tan? Like a little bit lighter tonight, PJ. What's going on?
Just the lighting. Just the lighting.
All right.
Guys, thank you for being here once again on another Thursday night. It feels like every night is a Thursday night. And Glynn Morgan, who is our Glynn, you are literally our most tenured guest of all time.
That's true. That's a fact now for sure.
And it's an absolute honor to say that. And I want to thank you for that.
It depends on how he takes it because nobody else comes
Foster,
back.
is that what she said?
He's like, what am I doing here? It's an honor to have you here, Glynn. Glynn told me, like in text today, that he, as long as he is available, he would love to cover for PJ when he's not here. And I find that to be a complete honor, coming from NBC Sports Chicago, who has fucked this man over, but everyone knows him from NBC Sports Chicago, just like I do. Yeah. And to have him part of our show is just, and the most tenured guest is an absolute honor. It shows his character. Or Foster, you can probably give us a burden for that because I don't know what you're talking about, but Glynn, like you were here, like for the draft at Lambeau Field, like calling us, drinking scotch, and talking to us, and you and I have always zigged and zagged on the show, and I'm so excited to see where we're going to zig and zag tonight, or maybe even a line or zig and zig, So I just want to thank you, Glynn, for joining us again tonight. It's an absolute freaking honor to have you here with us every single show. And I don't even know what to say. I'm like overwhelmed right now.
Let's talk Bears. Let's talk Bears.
Well, first let's just talk some shit here to like warm up the crowd here. Let's fluff the crowd here. Then we'll say hi to chat, and then we'll get into Bears.
I wanted to say this though, because see, Glynn shouldn't be known for that. What Glynn should be known for is what he's doing right now. But I'm just going to say I don't remember. I think I had one of your platforms on my phone. I've been terrible the last 6-7 weeks, but now that the season's back, hope to see more. Maybe let everybody know again where everybody can find you.
Yeah, please do, because
in the dim recesses of people's minds. I mean, pretty much YouTube land. From week to week, weekly, I'm on Stacey King's Give Me the Hot Sauce podcast. So I'm on there for a segment on Mondays. You can also catch me whenever I'm fortunate enough to be able to be. You guys are gracious enough, I'm trying to say, for you guys to have me on your platform. Also, to our own podcast with two of my co-hosts, Ezra McCann and my friend Brandon, Easy Smoking the GM podcast. Sometimes on Sean Sierra. Excuse me, I can't talk today. Sean Sierra's Sports Zone, and whenever Will wants to have his Bears Gridiron, I'm on there too. So yeah, man, pretty much on YouTube land. Just pop the name in there. I might pop up, might surprise you. Maybe I'll be on somebody else's streaming show as well.
Oh no. We have claimed you. You are ours. Like you are part of BCP now. So like I said, open invite.
Appreciate
it. PJ's doing. He's coaching now for Eureka College. He's not leaving the show, but he's just like involved in everyday stuff. He's coaching his grandchildren. So
awesome.
That's a true honor for him, and we cannot expect anything else from him. So, but as long as you want to be on this show, you are welcome every single Thursday night. You can become a part of BCP, and eventually, I can start paying you like, $10 a month to do it.
Well, that's more than what my kids do. They're constantly taking 10 times as much out of my pocket. So there you go.
Sure, you just sent me a text. My fees went up $10 a month. Just to be on the show, I gotta pay.
It's like now I'm making $0.
Well, Zach's got it right. This is all Foster's fault, he said.
Yeah.
Shorty, I want to interject very quickly. There are some audio issues I confirmed. I don't know if there's something that you're aware of that would either need to be fixed or that you've done in the past or something like this. But to me, it feels like a StreamYard issue, so we have to keep that.
Is it me or anyone else?
It went from you to Glenn, and I'm going to test it with myself here to make sure it's all of us. But yeah, it's definitely all of us. So I'm not sure if it's a StreamYard issue or what we can do, but
is there something in the like StreamYard keeps changing and adding new things? So is there anything in the settings that you can see that are different or need to be changed?
That's kind of why I hopped on. I don't know if you have a different set of tools available than I do, but I just see the audio settings for myself. So I don't know if there's an overarching thing here, but
let me look at each individual person. So maybe we should go to automatically adjust volume mic to each person, or
that's the problem.
reduce background noise.
You think so? Here, I'm gonna hop out, and you guys keep talking. And if you want to make changes on the fly, obviously, I will. Corroborate.
I'm in a hotel, and there's an air conditioning right next to me. Let me turn that off. That might.
He's sure he's going to be sweating, but he's going to be dripping in water.
No, I'm going to be sweating at 3:00 in the morning when I forget to turn that thing back on. Is this better? Is it better, guys?
Testing. I mean, I hear you guys just fine. So
I'm not.
Yeah, me too. But chat is having the problem hearing us. So is it better, chat, now? Hopefully, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. You go, Glenn.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wooly.
Zach says could be a masturbatory aid is in use nearby.
Could be.
But he says it's the same. So what is it doing? Static. Is it like intermittent? It's static.
Static is what Black Diamond is.
All right, let me try this. Can you hear me? No, you probably can't hear me.
About that.
Don't forget, Shorty, you're paying for that room by the hour.
Audio, oops. Oh.
That's why the vibrator's going.
Oh, here we go.
These guys are awesome. They got some. You know what? You keep going. Jedediah Harper, Black Diamond, David Ekval. What's up, fellas?
Can you hear me?
Good. Patty Lara. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
sure.
I guess it's a chat because we all sound fine to each other.
Right. I was gonna say this is like.
Can you hear me? No.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Patty Lara. Zach Sullivan. Good old Cliff Victoria.
Patty L says it seems better.
We'll just get rid of Shorty.
We can hear, but it cuts in and out.
Yeah, gentlemen, it is not a Shorty issue, a Glynn issue. It's definitely, it feels like it's related to StreamYard specifically. And I just looked, there's no status issues. So maybe it's on the YouTube end. I have no idea. The only real suggestion I have at this point is to end the stream and then start it right back up and see if restarting it would fix anything. But I don't know if that's worth it at this point.
Is it better now?
It's cutting in and out, is what they're saying. It seems much better now. Patty L says it seems much better now.
Okay.
That was a minute after her last, and Aldo saying it's better now.
Aldo, yeah.
I left and popped out. I unplugged my microphones, my headset. So, thank you guys for helping us with our technical difficulties.
Foster clearly fixed it. Please, everyone, a round of applause for Foster.
Thank you. I turned my volume down too. I figured that's going to make all the difference in the world.
Did you say?
Huh?
As we always do before we get into the show, let's just give our praises to chat. Like, you guys are fucking amazing. We love you guys. You're what makes us go around. Jediah Harper, Aldo Gandia is here tonight. Do you know Aldo, Glenn?
Yeah, we've met. Yeah.
Just any hit me up.
Patty Lara, Armando Lara Jr., you guys, Black Diamond. Oh man, Black Diamond, Sports Zone Chicago.
This podcast is
Not every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday with us. Carl, please play the Sports Zone Chicago intro, or so we.
Hey, it's your boy, the Superback, Sean Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
I just spent this last ass whooping at a watch party with Sean Sierra, Sports Zone Chicago, at the Branding Iron on the south side of Chicago this past Sunday, and we had a blast. He gave me the best cigar I've ever had. I took a picture of it just so I could buy another one. This is the best cigar I've ever had in my life. Thank you, Sean. Just to promote your show as much as we can, because we love you. Thank you, Sean, for having us. And please check them out Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. or 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Glynn has been on the show many times. Many amazing guests on that show. I don't even know how he does it. Sean's he's like, how the hell does Sean get so many great guests on his show is what I wonder. So go check him out.
Sean, man.
Yeah. And Foster was about to.
I was trying to get there, Glenn, and my car blew up on the way there, but they all had a blast. So it was a good Sunday.
Foster was on his way to the watch party, and he calls us, and I'm in the truck driving, so my truck took it over on speaker, and he's like, "Something's wrong with my car, guys. I'm not going to be able to make it." We're like, "Are you okay?" Like, it's like, and then it starts getting louder. It's like, "What is going on, dude? Just get a tow truck and go home," So it sucks that you weren't able to make it, Foster. But we had a freaking great time. Back to our chat. Aldo, Zach Sullivan, thank you for hanging out with us tonight, man. We really appreciate it.
Don't forget about Patty.
Patty Lara, Armando Lara, Cliff Victoria, good to see you again. Hope that you are well. It's been a little bit. We love you guys.
Homie in the house.
Thank you for supporting us. It means the world to us. And we got a new guy here. It's Glenn's joining the show. Possibly. So, Glenn, like, honestly, I'm humbled and honored that you, when you text me, you're like, "Can I come on and rant about some Bear shit tonight?" I'm like, "Absolutely." You were here for the draft. You were in Lambeau Field. You plugged into us on your phone, and you're drinking scotch, having a good time. Like,
that was fun.
All these Packer assholes around me, It's just I'm so humbled that you appreciate what we do here and that you want to even be a part of it. That's it's truly an honor. And just so you know, like right now I'm in West Chicago. I'm here in Illinois for work, so I'm in a hotel, so I don't have my normal setup. So I think that's why we
Glynn did mention he was out of town right now, right? That way,
yeah.
I know you wanted to get.
Yeah, Romy, thank you for joining us, Romy. There was also somebody else. Oh, Jediah Harper, thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you, man. Thank you, guys. I'm going to shut up now. Go ahead. Who's next?
Let the man freaking rant because I want to hear this. You going offense, defense? Where are you going? Where are you going, Glynn?
Yeah, Glynn.
Well,
how are you going to zig to my zag tonight? I'm going to let you go first.
Caleb Williams?
Well, I hope not.
No, not so much.
Thank you.
Thank God.
Are we going to be aligned tonight?
I think most of my ire and fervor within that ire is dissipated a little bit. Time does that. It kind of helps you mellow out a little bit. No, really, a lot of it, and I go back to even last year. For me, it revolves around Ryan Poles. I have issue with the choices he's made, particularly drafting, but up until now, coaching staffs has been a bit of an issue. But I think sometimes it's tough to put because it's not like he's done a horrible job, but he hasn't done a good job. He's done an okay job, but I don't know how I feel about that. And for the most part, I think it's more of an incomplete. It's like when you're in college or whatever, and you're trying to get through that semester, and you're like, "Thank God I got the incomplete," because you didn't want the F or a fail, but you didn't do good enough to get an A or a B. So the incomplete feels like gives you a bit of a pass for a little bit. And I think it's time to revoke that incomplete from him, that pass, because last year my issue with him revolved around what he did with the draft picks. Drafting the punter, I don't care how talented the punter is in the fourth round, it'll never make any sense to me. Using one of your mid-round picks to get an aging wide receiver, although Hall of Fame caliber type receiver, but someone who basically has been on the West Coast his entire collegiate and professional career. Why you would spend that money, spend a draft pick on him for potentially 1 year, like we're 1 or 2 players away, made no sense to me. Also, using another draft pick to pursue an offensive lineman that, for whatever you had a Woody and a Chubby for like over a year and a half, the guy he got from Buffalo, his name's escaping me right now. It's some of those things. It seemed like you weren't utilizing your picks to the best of their ability. On top of the fact that you realize this is last year, I'm going back to. You realize you didn't have enough. You didn't get an edge rusher, which you haven't been able to get. So you use this year's draft capital to go back into last year, or to go back during last year to draft Booker, which seems like a decent pick, but again, we're waiting to see. So inefficiency. He's the most inefficient head or GM that I can recall in quite some time. It's like he does enough so you're not pissed at him, but he's not doing enough so you can be excited about what's going on here. And it made no sense to me. Like I started to get pissed this past week because I'm like, okay, how the fuck did we fuck up not getting Jim Harbaugh? Can someone explain to me how you messed that up? It's kind of like, and I like Bruce Weber. He's a nice man. I met him. I never understood how his brother had Eschmeyer, I think is his name, or he's like Mr. Basketball. He ends up going to Duke. It's like your brother's coaching him. How could you not land in Illinois? I mean, come on. Like, you can't have more inside than your brother is his coach. And the same thing here with Poles. It's like with the Bears organization. It's like Jim Harbaugh. Like, you drafted him out of Michigan when a lot of Michigan quarterbacks just weren't being drafted. Late first round. He cut his teeth here professionally as a Bear. He's classic Midwest. He's a coach's kid. Yep. All these things. He came back to Michigan to coach. It couldn't have been money because you're paying Ben Johnson a boatload, so it couldn't have been that. Somehow, some way, personalities didn't mix. Or Jim was just smart enough to realize, no, I know I don't want to involve myself with them because, again, he'd been here, so maybe he knew better. I don't know. But you look at what the what the Chargers are doing now, what they did to the Chiefs last week, what they did to the Raiders this past week, And it's just like they look like, you know, the arrow is not just pointing up, it's like shooting through the roof right now. They look like they are definitely gonna be one of the last 4 teams in the AFC when it gets to you know, divisional playoffs and what have you. And that's, I know it's week 2, it's kind of early, but they look really good. They look solid. They're not beating themselves. They look like a well-coached team is my point. And I'm not saying Ben Johnson's not going to do a good job, but it's like you're not doing enough to land enough. I've still never quite got over the fact that I didn't think they did enough when they made the trade and they traded with Carolina. I thought they should have been able to do more with what they got. I understand moving on from Justin. I'm not going to rip that wound back up. I'm not going there. However, with that, I felt the number 1 pick overall, and this was part of the debate I had with Mark Harmon, was that it wasn't about Caleb, wasn't about how good people thought Caleb was or would be. It wasn't about what people thought about Justin, how, you know, unfair or how much more he needed to be better as a quarterback. It wasn't about those two at all. It was about the Bears organization. Having that number 1 pick, you have a prime opportunity. You hope you never had number 1 pick back-to-back years or so on and so forth. But you had the number 1 pick right then and there. And it's like you have an opportunity here to completely set the course for this franchise going forward. And I couldn't understand, I couldn't understand why the thought of trading down seems so abhorrent to him. Because you had, and I know it seems like I'm talking retrospectively, but I'm not. I was actually saying this, you know, a couple of years back. You have a chance here because there was more than one quarterback coming out. I don't know why anyone would have thought that Caleb was the only quarterback coming out, because keep in mind, Jayden Daniels had won the Heisman Trophy as well. Jayden Daniels played in a much tougher conference than what Caleb did. Pac-12 wasn't as good as it was in its final year when Caleb was playing. It just wasn't. You had 2 first-round picks. You didn't trade down in a draft that was heavy with everything you needed: offensive linemen, quarterbacks, wide receivers. I have no problem with Odunze and Caleb as far as talent goes. I'm saying you needed more talent. It's clear. The Detroit Lion game should prove to everybody we're not even close. We're not. I like the fact that the Lions beat the shit out of us. I do. Because when your brother beats you up, you feel it more, because your brother's not going to lie to you. Campbell's, you know, he's not going to lie to you, to Ben. Ben took that beating, and it was like, this is the best thing for me. He did the Bears a favor. He did the Bears a favor, because it's like, look, there's no way you can excuse yourself out of this one. You can't delude yourself into thinking that you should have, could have, maybe won that game, like week 1 against Minnesota. Oh, we had a double-digit lead. We let that one slip away. We were so close. Detroit was like, nah, son, you're not close. And here, this is what it's like to play real football. This is what it's like to execute. This is what it's like to X, Y, Z, so on and so forth. And Johnson was pissed. You could tell, pissed, embarrassed, but it did him a favor, because now any and everything you say, the players, they can't argue against it because they look like crap. Everybody did horrible. Special teams is the only unit that looked pretty decent against Detroit. And that means that they're being utilized way too much, probably, so you get a chance to actually see how well they were performing and executing. So once again, you're not doing enough. I was pissed, and this is polls. Everything's polls related. Going back, I'm bouncing back and forth between last year, so just bear with me. I was pissed last year right after the Colts game, which is like, I think it's the second game of the week, or second game of the season last year, excuse me, because it's like you got away with winning the Tennessee game, which you probably should have lost. If the quarterback, Will Levis, wasn't such an idiot, the Bears would have lost that game to Tennessee. You lose the game to the Colts game. It's like, what are you doing here? And then that same week, that Thursday night, we see, or Monday night, whatever game it was a primetime game, we see Jayden Daniels throw this game-winning pass with pressure on him against the Bengals, a perfect pass over the outside shoulder, you know, in the end zone to McLaren. And it was like, what the hell is going on here? The ball off to the lineman was a goofy play, was a little bit of hubris. And then, you know, obviously, Stevenson didn't help Matt.
Glynn is starting to fall off the rails. The connection's
sorry.
No, connection-wise. Topic-wise,
connection-wise, right.
Logic-wise, you're spot on. But I don't know if there's a way for you to check your connection. I'd say keep it running. If it happens again, I'll let you know. But I want everyone to hear what you have to say, because I feel like it's spot on.
So again, as far as with Daniels, by the time the Bears lost to Washington, I had lost my shit for the most part, because how can you explain an organization that basically had to completely, restructure itself from the owner on down to the last player chosen? And yes, a lot of things had to go right. And Washington, things went well. I'm not, yes, all that stuff, but it's embarrassing. And so the following week, the Bears followed that up with a complete turd against the Patriots at home. So in 2 weeks,
You're muted now somehow. There you go.
Got me? Okay, so I'm sorry. Last thing I said was that for some reason, after losing the Washington game, the Bears laid a turd the following. They're probably still playing the loss of the previous week. They lose really a crap game to a crap team in the Patriots at home. So, and consecutive weeks, you lose to the guys chosen after you. Okay. And then you realize, if you weren't paying attention, that it had nothing against Tyson Bagent. He should be the emergency quarterback. You need to have a veteran there. There's no veteran. So Caleb is just, you're just willy-nilly it. You fire offensive coordinator, season's completely lost. You lose 10 in a row, whatever it is. You win a meaningless game against the Packers at the end of the season. Packers are already in the playoffs. They're playing on their starters. You win in Green Bay. Okay, that's great, but nobody really care about that. It doesn't mean this whole bunch. So you do the right thing again. You go out and get Ben Johnson, and you do a good job in free agency. You start to address the line. Seem like you're doing the right stuff. You still don't get an edge rusher. You draft the offensive lineman for what like to be a right tackle, because you spent a first round pick on that. Trapillo really isn't a left tackle. How are you going to make that work? Are you moving right over to left, or what are you doing here?
Glenn, I hate to interrupt and interject on you here because, again, you're spot on, right? I want to present this to you before it gets lost in translation. I was told that Jonah Jackson is your worst offensive lineman right now. From the eye test, he just looks terrible. Right guard, right?
Yeah.
What do you think, and you don't have to answer this if you want to continue, but what do you think about kicking Darnell Wright from right tackle to right guard and playing Ozzie Trapillo at his, call it, God-given position of right tackle?
Oh God, this guy.
At this point, I think try anything. I really do. When you do that, understand that you're still going to have a lot of problems, because your synchronicity on the offensive line is going to have to take time to mesh. You're going to have to figure it all out. You're losing some veteran presence, and although Jackson may not be performing well per se, there's still things that he understands and knows, particularly how that offense works. He's the most seasoned person in that offense. You're going to have issues on the right side, and then you may have some issues on the left side as well. So, excuse me one second.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I like the answer. Yeah. I don't know, for my money,
So
guys,
his
I think
wife
that
was like,
Darnell
"Want some
Wright's your most
pizza right now?"
talented.
No, I'm sorry, guys. My daughter, who just drove into town real quick, came in and gave me a quick hug. So not that anybody cares but me, but but yeah. And I apologize. I know I'm rambling. I apologize for cutting you off, Carl. But yeah, man, I think it's a good move for the longevity of wherever you might want to go, because you have some good size. I mean, it potentially could be a side that you run to more often. You have a more athletic right side. You've got some size over there. It can work well. It's going to take some time to get that kind of synchronous. I mean, at this point, you're not going to be much worse than what you have been. So take the chance now.
Yeah.
1 second, guys. I got to get my battery going. But I'll say this right quick, and I went on a rant. I apologize. But Poles is a person I have issue
Never
with.
apologize.
And I'll say this.
Came on for a rant, so please get it up with.
I'll say this. I think at this point, right now, I think you should trade DJ Moore, excuse me. I think you should trade DJ Moore. I love him. I like him a lot. But if you're not going to utilize him and you keep throwing him, you keep trying to make him a running back or whatever it is you're trying to do, you're talking about a guy that right now, after 2 weeks, he's way down the NFL chart. I think he only has 11 receptions or 11 targets on the season, I think. something crazy like that, and or maybe 11 receptions on the season. Him and Zacchaeus are tied. Dunze is, I think he's top 10 right now, at least, after last weekend, he's top 10 as far as receptions go. I think he was like at ninth overall, and he was tied for number 1 with touchdowns. So clearly Caleb and he have a rapport going on. But with DJ hasn't had a good year since Justin left. And neither has Komet. I mean, Komet is on a milk carton. I mean, where the hell is he? And it's not his fault. I mean, you got him blocking. I mean, utilize him. You have Komet and Colston combined have 9 targets combined. Tyler Warren has like 11 receptions or 10 receptions. I think about 16 to 17 targets by himself. No touchdowns from your tight ends at all. And this is supposed to be an offense that's 12 personnel.
I was just about to say that.
What are we doing here? And some of that, this is where you start saying, this is on Caleb, this is on Ben, it's on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody at some point to me starts pointing up the polls and explain to me how this guy gets rewarded. I mean, I wish I could be rewarded for that amount of ineptitude in terms of your win-loss record.
Well,
Can I spin that, Glynn?
I have a lot to add to that when you're done.
I wanted to just spin it real quick for Glynn, because how can we go from not having a competent offensive line for Ryan Poles' entire tenure to essentially, on paper initially, they tried to get 4 new starters. Obviously, Ozzie Trapillo did not work out, and I could go on a long tangent and embarrass myself on that one. But again, all these moves, you're drafting a tight end, 10th overall, first 3 picks of the NFL draft are offensive players. For my money, I think that Ben Johnson has a very, very, very loud voice in the personnel department, to put it lightly. So,
well, I agree with you.
I had to go my hotel notepad and pen to write down so I can remember how to respond to you on all this. Please go.
Well, here's the thing. When you do what you did in free agency, the Bears, in terms of getting offensive line, you supposedly addressed their interior, and you're looking to your left and right tackles as being young, athletic guys with some potential upside. And I'm a guy that you're hoping, I would assume that they were hoping would be healthy and have a full training camp and could press for. And then you still got Theo Bennett as well coming back from an injury. So I think they're believing the thought was one of these 3 will make the decision for us, but we should be good on the right side and we've got the interior. I think they overcorrected a bit. When I say that, I mean in terms of pass protection. Justin Field was under the gun pretty much his whole tenure here, and we saw Caleb be sacked 68 times. So that would mandate, like, okay, well, we need to get better pass protection. I think they got guys who are decent at pass protection, but I don't think they're really good run blockers. And so a team that was pretty good running and led the league rushing, a few years back, and then was like top 4 the following year, now has fallen off the rails. And for Ben Johnson's offense to work, you need one where you can run the ball. Otherwise, your play action just kind of falls flat because no one's going to honor your ability to run the ball. So now you're having to keep your 2 tight ends in to block more because you're not getting the push running. And so now they're not in the pat. So now everything is just falling in and caving in on itself, which again points to the general manager. And this is the last thing I'll say on this super extended semi-rant. You asked Jalen Johnson, like 2 things. First thing, you asked Jalen Johnson to, maneuver some money around, to agree to a restructuring so you can have some money. To do what? What have you done since you've done that? We've watched Green Bay.
Zadarius Smith go to where did he go? The Lions?
No,
he went to the Eagles, and then Clowney, who we're going to get an up close and personal look at on the Dallas Cowboys. Go off, Glenn.
Yeah, I mean, Clowney, he's a little bit long in the tooth, and I think you're just going to get a guy that won't give you much of a pass rush, but can hold up at the edge, whatever. You sort of kind of have that a bit, but you want more of a pass rush, at least even in spots, and Zadarius definitely would have given you that. And you just watch your neighbors to the north go out and get Micah Parsons, and then you need running backs. We're going into the last 2 games with just 2 running backs. What the fuck is that all about? And
could have had RJ Harvey instead of Ozzie Trapillo. I got it all loaded up in the arsenal for you, Glenn.
Exactly. And I like Harvey, coming out of, I believe it was
UCF. They got a song about the kid. I watched his film. He really impressed me. The kid's great. I'm glad he's in the Broncos. He's going to win some games for him.
Yeah, and I played with him on the video games. Pretty good. So, but you have two running backs, and your premier running back is not really a between the tackles runner. He can do it from time to time, but he's more of a perimeter guy. And you're not getting much of a push, so he's not going to create a hole. He's not going to push through one. You got a non-guy, but you're treating him like a rookie, and he's fifth-round pick, and he's not explosive. He does everything well enough, but nothing great at this point. You're not going to entrust, because if you could entrust the offense to him, you'd have done it already. So your running game isn't giving you much. And so you're right back to where Caleb is going to have to pass more than he needs to. And he's going to fall back into some of the traits that he's done, because Caleb, and this is where I get a little critical, he loves going on the run. He's enamored with his ability to throw going to his left, throw going to his right, whatever, however, so on and so forth. And so we're seeing some of the same BS in just a different light. But you move the light around, you realize it's still the same pile of crap that you had there before. But I look to polls, and this is a problem. As far as the running back rant, you watch Philadelphia did two moves. They went out and got Zadarius Smith, and they also got Tank Bigsby out of Jacksonville. We could have used Tank Bigsby. You definitely could have used him. He could probably be your 1-2 punch, really. And I don't understand this, because Philadelphia, correct me if I'm wrong, they're the reigning Super Bowl champions. They have Saquon Barkley. They also have A.J. Dillon. They also went out and got Will Shipley from Clemson. For whatever reason, and they're 2-0, for whatever reason, they felt like, you know what? That's not enough. We need more.
Right.
So if they feel they need more, what are we sitting back waiting for? What are you using the money for?
Caveat, I do think it was specifically for those silly kickoff returns where you have to have two guys and get into a car accident, but I'll digress.
Yeah. So again, my thing with coming to a close. Polls, he gets a big fat incomplete from me, because I think he's an incomplete and a big eye for inefficiency. He's an inefficient GM, and it's almost to the point like, okay, if you have more picks, what is that going to net you? I'll say this, and the second thing I was going to say was that this team is comprised of a lot of good and some talented players. There's not one great player on this team, and the closest person to being a great player in this team won't be playing for the next 2.5 months at best, and that's Jalen Johnson, and that's somebody that they drafted. He inherited him.
Yeah.
DJ Moore, you made a trade for him, but he's being underutilized, and the coaches you've got, that's on you.
Yeah.
It gets frustrating, and it's in the minutia of things. That's what it is. That's why it's so hard to detect, because you can point to, well, you got the first pick. You went out and got Caleb. Yeah, but you needed so much more. You mean to tell me this team wouldn't be better if you traded down once or twice, and if you had Jaden or maybe Drake May, and you had a better lineman, and you would have gotten maybe 10 to 12 picks last year and 10 to 12 picks this year? So even if half of those 10 to 12 picks work in each of those drafts, you're talking a potential of 10 players being your core players going forward. You look at franchises like the Steelers, the Chiefs now. You look at Baltimore over the last 15, 20 years. You look at what Green Bay's been doing. There's teams that have had sustainability. Look what the Eagles have been doing of recent note. It's not – Jalen Hurts is not a superstar. You don't have to have the perceived best quarterback come out of the draft to go to a Super Bowl, let alone win a Super Bowl. Ben Roethlisberger was the third quarterback taken in the first round. Same one with Eli and Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers never made it to a Super Bowl. Ben Roethlisberger won as many as Eli. He's a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback. Went to more Super Bowls, but he won as many as Eli. Jalen Hurts has been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. Arguably could have won the first time they played the Chiefs. If he doesn't fumble, that changed the whole momentum. But he was a second-round pick. They went with the 49ers went with Brock Purdy, the last pick not the last pick in the first round, not the last quarterback taken in the first round, the last pick in the first round. Why? Because of all the talent around him. And that's my point.
Taking notes. I'm saving up notes. It's getting longer the more you talk, and I'm going to rebuttal some of what you have to say after Foster goes next. Because your time is done, Glenn. You have said it all. We need to hear from Foster so I can go. Carl, you've spoken your piece way before we have.
I would love to throw up because Aldo said, "Oh, it's too hard to trade DJ Moore. It's impossible." Well,
Shit. No,
you're
it's
wrong.
Disagree.
For the audio listeners, we are currently looking at over the caps evaluation of DJ Moore's contract in the year 2025 with it says pre-cut. I got to fix that. I'll be right back.
Doesn't matter. It's a great contract for whoever he's playing for.
Exactly.
And the guy is always over 1,000 yards with doesn't matter what quarterback unless he's playing for the Bears. How many quarterbacks has he played with, Glenn? He's got to be 5 or 6, 7.
I was going to say no less than 5 and no more than 15. so somewhere in between there.
Yeah.
But you know, as limited as Justin can be at times with his ability to pass more effectively and efficiently, clearly he had a connection with Kmet and DJ, and those are the 2 best receiving options. Everybody else on the defense, the opposing teams knew that, but they were still. And keep in mind, Bagent wasn't really throwing to DJ, so it wasn't like he had great numbers. He had no touchdown catches from Bagent. So all those touchdown receptions he got that year was from when Justin was throwing to him. You know, just trade him because you can get something for him. He'll be happier. You drafted a Dunze. You've got Luther Bird, and wide receivers are coming out pretty much every year now. There are going to be some that are going to be available free agency. You need a lot of help at this point.
Yeah, Glynn, totally agree with you. And again, last time I'll be interjecting for a little while here. In the year 2025, with a post-June 1st trade, audio listeners, moving forward from today's date,
he'll interject.
You'll only have a $4 million dead cap hit for it will suck over 4 years, but a measly $4 million. I don't know about you guys. I think you can flip DJ Moore still for a first-round pick.
I wish I had
to a contender.
On $4 million.
If something goes awry with Keon Coleman in Buffalo, that's my speculation there. Pittsburgh? You're going to help out Aaron Rodgers? It's dead and gone at that point. Who cares, right?
He's in the AFC. Don't even care.
Yeah. I don't know about Pittsburgh, maybe, but again, I think Buffalo, you've had a lot of below-the-belt handshakes over these last 2 drafts with them. I think you could strike a deal for a first-round pick for DJ Moore straight up, but again, I'm out of here.
I don't believe you, Carl. You'll be back in 10 seconds.
That's what I said.
For anyone else that says
Correct.
Foster and I have been sitting there the entire time waiting for him to finish, and you've got
I'm sorry. I got a little long-winded as usual.
Don't be sorry. He doesn't know how he says things, how they come out.
We've been waiting for you to finish, and Carl has gotten in 25 sentences before we can even let you finish.
Waiting for you to finish. That's what she said.
Now you are done.
Wow,
I want to hear Foster's rebuttal to that, to what you said, and Carl, and then I'm going to say, I'm going to interject after that. I'll go last. Go, Foster.
You're going to make rebuttal.
I've got notes, by the way. I've got notes.
Good. You're going to need them because I'm not going to have much rebuttal. I'm just going to say it like it is. I was a Poles guy. I am a Poles guy. I backed him all the way, man. I don't know if you guys remember. I would always say, PGT, Poles got this. Poles got this.
PGTS, Poles got this shit.
That was the other one. And I'm looking now through the last 3 years going, I'm a human being. I make mistakes. I had a lot of faith in the man. I thought coming out of Kansas City and with his background, but looking at the draft, go back and look at our draft show because the picks, not all of them, but over the last 2 years, there was a few of them we were sitting there like, what are you doing? How come I don't have Kenneth Brandt on this team? I mean, I'm just throwing a name out there here or there, but
well, just compare it to what the Lions have done over that period of time.
The Lions, Washington, Houston. I could, if I went through it, Denver's made some pretty good picks the last couple of years, and Sean Payton will never will never coach in Chicago. He said it, and it's ownership. That's the reason why he won't coach in the league. And the thing with Harbaugh,
probably ownership.
Several things, everything you hear, a lot of stuff. Ownership. They know Jim Harbaugh. They don't really know Jim Harbaugh today, but they know who Jim Harbaugh was, wild and fiery when he was here. So they're expecting the same thing. And then our president of operations, and I don't know if this is correct. I don't know if you guys remember this story. Kind of nixed that idea. At least, don't know if it's real or not. But do you remember hearing this?
Probably. Yeah, probably. It's an issue with being the Big Ten commissioner and everything. So
right. So I mean, there's things on that.
I mean, it's supposed to be business, right? Not personal.
Yep. Well, this is what kills me because sports gets it right, man. You only want the best on your team. At least I presume they get it right.
No, clearly not.
The Bears have for decades, as we all know, who's ever been around long enough, they get it right a lot less times than it seems like every other damn team, just about, except for maybe the Lions and a couple others.
Well,
that's changed too. Go ahead.
I'll say this right quick to your point with the Bears. And this is the good news I have. And I've said it before. About every 20 to 25 years, the Bears are championship caliber. In the 40s, 73-0 against Washington. They had another couple of championships there. Early 60s, I think it was 63, 64, somewhere around when they had the championship. 63. Obviously, the 85 Bears. And early 2000s, Lovie Smith got the Bears to the Super Bowl as well. So we're about to enter that stretch between like 2026 to 2029. So I'm just saying it's not all bad. It's just bad right now.
I want like the 30s and the 40s Bears where we had 5 or 6 championships and we played in 10 championships games. Those are the days I want.
The dynasty.
Not that I was there or anything, Shorty.
Yeah, of course you were.
My dad told me about it.
Can I speak now?
Absolutely.
Is that okay?
Well, me.
I got more to say, but speak, baby. Speak.
No, please finish if you want.
No, I can't right now. I want you to talk because then I'll remember more stuff. I had about 10 more things in my mind. I should be sitting here with a freaking notepad or one of those Walkman recording it. So you know, hey, wait, what did Glenn say? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Hotel notepad. Listen, as far as the beginning of what you were saying about polls, Glenn, I can totally understand what you're saying. But like the Bears fan in me didn't want this regime to fucking rinse and repeat again. And you know what I mean by that, right? General manager hire a head coach, general manager gets fired, new general manager comes in, doesn't like the head coach, fires the head coach, new quarterback, general manager doesn't want that quarterback, or head coach doesn't want that quarterback, cut that quarterback, get another one. Yeah, it all has to be about who we want, right?
Right, but that's just what's happened, though. It has repeated itself.
It hasn't. No. They broke the chain by re-signing Poles. Because
didn't they just hire a head coach and the quarterback was already here?
No, they did do that, but they broke the chain by re-signing the general manager to meet the head coach's contract. And I believe in that re-signing of Poles means that they believe, just like I do, and this is just my opinion, and I appreciate everyone else's opinions in chat and your guys' opinion if it disaligns with me. But my opinion is that the head coach, he's, as you alluded to, or one of you two did, I forgot who it was, that the head coach is going to help to, especially when you have one that I believe that we all believe in, as Ben Johnson, is going to have the input for the general manager for the players that he wants, that fits his scheme. And so Poles can become a better general manager because we have in what we believe in to be such a great head coach. So if we would have fired or let Poles' contract expire, and then what? Then we're going to get another general manager that, oh, he's not my head coach, and this is not my quarterback, and now we're stuck back. Now we're back in the same rinse and repeat cycle. For me, we needed to have some.
Wouldn't you've had the new head coach with the new GM? Wouldn't that have been the case if you let Poles go after the season?
Well, yes, you would have done this last year, but it's past that, right? So we got the head coach. We all can we not all agree that we believe in Ben Johnson?
I believe it feels a little different. I agree with you on that. This feels a little different.
Okay,
this feels in a positive way.
Do you want the general manager's contract to expire, and then they go get another general manager, and that this is not my head coach? Rinse and repeat scenario. Do you think that if they did fire Poles, and then they were like, well, Ben, who do you want as your general manager? Like, what the hell is he going to say about that? Does he even know? And would it align to him? And if they did do that, would that new general manager just been like, well, he's not my head coach. This is not my quarterback. We're going to do this. We're going to just rinse and repeat. So for me, re-signing Poles was the only scenario. It had to happen. And only because the head coach can help. If we truly believe in Ben can help Ryan Poles, and they can, just like I think we all kind of thought based on the drafting of Ryan Poles, that Eberflus has something to do with that, right? Can we not? I think we can kind of agree on that at some point. No, you don't agree on that. Well, I think that he did, because we went defensive heavy in the first year. We got Gordon and Brisker in the first 2 picks of that era with a defensive-minded head coach, and then this year we went wide receiver and tight end, and with the first 2 picks.
Last year you went quarterback, wide receiver.
Huh?
Last year you went quarterback, wide receiver.
No, but that was with Eberflus.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Eberflus had a lot. I think if Eberflus had his druthers, he would have wanted Jalen Carter. I think if Eberflus had his druthers,
right.
He would have wanted an edge rusher. They never got him an edge rusher. They never got him a free technique.
In the back of my mind, I truly believe that even Ben Johnson knew that Eberflus was going to be fired after this season or last season, and he knew that he wanted this job. And when they took Caleb, it was like they should have just fired Eberflus last year, and they could have probably gotten Ben Johnson this. And I was all on board with Jim Harbaugh last year. I pounded the fucking table for Jim Harbaugh last year. But right now, I'm sitting here glad we didn't do that, because I would much rather have Ben Johnson over Jim Harbaugh. Why?
Because
age. So just to finish my notes from
how old is Harbaugh? Is he like 90?
He's like
62.
He's
We'd
65 years
already
old.
be winning if we had Harbaugh.
Pete Carroll's still coaching.
But let me ask you this: who'd you rather have right now as your head coach? Both of you and chat, Ben Johnson or Jim Harbaugh?
Right now, I'd rather have Jim Harbaugh.
Me too.
And when I say that, I get your point. And Ben Johnson is 39, and if you look at the NFC North, it's a very young. The head coaches and the general managers are all young. The oldest one is Brian Gutekunst. I think he's like 52.
He's beaten them before. Like, we got a guy in the division that knows how to beat those teams.
I get that, but here's my issue. When I think about Jim Harbaugh, he's proven that he can build wherever he's been. Whether it was San Diego State, I think he was there. Obviously at Stanford. Obviously the 49ers and Michigan, and now the Chargers. So here's a guy that knows what the hell he's doing. He knows what and he knows what he's doing. He knows what he needs, and we know that he knows. It's like if you get Bill Parcells or Nick Saban, you know these guys are going to bring a certain amount of discipline and the ability to execute. And sometimes when you get the wonder kind, when you get the genius, so to speak, and I think Ben Johnson will get there eventually. It's
the gene. What do Ben Johnson and Jim Harbaugh have in common? They're both the son of a head coach of a football team.
I mean, there's a lot of guys who are sons of coaches.
But
Dallas Cowboys head coach is a son of a coach, an NFL coach. I mean.
Right, but when you're talking about offensive acumen and you look at what Ben did offensively with the Lions, and I was expecting to see like one play last week that might have, like when we still had the game in hand, like one of those genius plays that we all kind of expect Ben to have. I expected him to pull that out of the bag last week, but he didn't. I think that was for a reason. He doesn't want to give it away too soon. So just to finish my
I apologize. I keep interrupting.
No, it's
Yes.
no, it's I think that Ben Johnson will make Ryan Poles a better general manager as they work together. So I think that for me, I would rather have them re-sign Poles to match the contract of Ben than fucking fire Poles and then bring another guy for general manager that'll sit there and go, well, that's not the guy that I wanted. That's not the quarterback that I wanted. And then then we are in the rinse and repeat session. Right now, they broke that mold by re-signing Poles. And my hope, it's my hope. We talk about this all the time. It's hope. It's the Bears. It's hope. But the hope is by doing that, we have given Ryan Poles a coach that can actually help him to pick the talent that he wants in the draft. And in the coming years, when we are drafting, including this past year, whether it's Ozzie Trapillo that Carl wants to crap all over, I'm sure he's going to pop
career depth.
I knew he was, or whether it's them decide. They announced that they wanted a running back. They told us they wanted the running back from Ohio State. He was picked 2 picks before us.
One pick, Travion Henderson.
1 pick, they traded back. Then it got to the next pick, and they traded back because the next running back was picked right before us. So then they had to pivot. But they had the same idea that we all had going into that draft. So it just didn't work out. So they had to keep trading back, and they got more picks from it. So I believe that moving forward in the future, Ben Johnson is going to make Ryan Poles a better general manager. And in my opinion, keeping him and aligning the contracts made perfect sense because I don't want the rinse and repeat scenario that we've always had. Fired this guy, I don't like this guy. Fired this guy, I don't like this. Fired that guy, I don't like this. And then we're like doing it all over again.
What? No super chats?
I wanted to bring up that this. Oh, thank you, Aldo. 5 memberships gifted. What a
Fabulous, darling.
Thank you, Aldo Gandia. You are the godfather.
Aldo's one of our big supporters, man.
There's like people hopping in the chat right now, like, I just got a free membership. Thank you guys for joining us. Please check out the membership content that we give you every pre-show. By the way, Carl, I mailed you the thumbnail for the pre-show. So I'm looking at my notes. Give me a second here. Before I get to the main issue that I want to talk about, you're talking about Caleb throwing on the run. Okay, if I had to pick one thing about Caleb, there is nothing I can sit here and preach from the top of a mountain about how great I think Caleb is and he will be. The one damn thing I think his problem is his height. And I think that if I said it right when they drafted Ozzie, it's like you're drafting a 6'8" offensive lineman for a 6'1" quarterback. Like you need to draft better offensive linemen that are like just more like in the 6'4" range, because you don't want once your quarterback has to throw over a 6'8" guy, the ball is going to float too high and then it's going to miss the receiver. It's going to be overthrown. So the reason why I think Caleb moves out of the pocket, everyone says he holds on to the ball too long. Well, let's think about that for a second. Last year, when people were accusing him of that, it's because he had a rush coming into his face that was unblocked and he was about to be murdered, and he had to run out of the pocket for what?
Not always.
Not always, but 80% of the time. But even this year, that creates a throwing lane for him when he moves out of the pocket. And if they design more of those plays that were out of the pocket for him because he's a little bit too short, that's the only thing I can come up with as far as a knock on him.
How often did we see Drew Brees roll out the pocket? I'm sorry.
Okay. I've been asked this question many times. How often have you seen Drew Brees throw within a passing lane that was designed for him? And I would love to know those numbers because we both don't know those numbers. Like the
You,
The
you,
offensive line
so is it coaching or is it coach? So basically, you're saying coaching needs to do a better job. And
to create passing lanes for him or move him out of the pocket to create the passing lanes so he's not, behind 6'8" offensive linemen like Ozzie Trapillo if he's in the game, or 6'7" guys, or 6'4" and below. I think is a good number for offensive linemen for Caleb to be able to get the ball over their heads without floating the ball too much where it's overthrown. I will say. So back to your if you didn't trust in Ryan Poles, if you wanted the haul. Okay, I can't remember the answer to that. You said
margin for error.
You talked about.
You give yourself a better margin for error. You don't have to hit on every single player, and then you give a chance of being able to double up on certain positions, but you also give yourself a chance at getting more talent, particularly the last two drafts where it was heavy in the areas that were more central to what the Bears needed: offensive line, wide receiver, edge rusher. And last year you had one of the better running back classes in terms of just depth from first round to last round. And you don't get one until you get a Monangai. And I think he's a nice player, but again, it's a team full of a lot of decent, good, talented players, but there's no great talent yet. So I get the argument. Yes, Poles could mess up the draft if he had more picks. It's possible, but it's also possible that you could help yourself not mess yourself up by giving yourself a better margin for error. So if I can take two players at position, maybe I get one of them right. Like when they did for the cornerback position, when he got Smith and when he got Stevenson, when he got Brisker and when he got Gordon. It's like you're giving and I thought that was his mindset, but he seemed to have gotten away from that. And so you're trying to hit on a player now, and it's like you're not there. I think he overestimated the team's talent and ability. I don't know where he misread that so profoundly, but it's clear that was the case when you're drafting a punter in the fourth round and you make a move to bring in an aging receiver. You're saying to yourself, we're right there. And you have a rookie quarterback, and you think the rookie quarterback is going to be the one that takes you over the top. So you think the rookie quarterback is going to cure all your ills. He's going to make everybody better. And people saying stuff like, hey, he's generational, and hey, he's the next Mahomes. Like, you don't know that. And he's not, I never felt he was generational in college. I didn't. And it sounds like I'm Caleb bashing. I'm not. I'm bashing the assessment on Caleb. I never thought Caleb was generational. Talented, by all means, clearly, definitely talented. Generational means me seeing some shit I've never seen before. We've all seen that before. We saw it. Look, I'll go back to Demel Holloway at Oklahoma in the early 80s. Now, he wasn't a good passer, but Demel Holloway was a dual threat. Oklahoma wins the national championships. You move that up to Tommy Frazier with Nebraska. Better passer, but still not an adroit passer, but a pretty good passer at the collegiate level. Dominant dual talent threat. Nebraska wins back-to-back national championships. I'll move it up again to Michael Vick. Michael Vick's freaking generational as far as it comes to college and even in the pros in a lot of ways. Michael Vick took Virginia Tech screaming and fighting, screaming all the way to the national championship game. Was in it for a while with Florida State, but obviously only one person can only do so much. He's only one man, but it's Michael Vick. He became a cheat code for video games because he was ridiculous.
But he's a lefty. I don't trust in lefties. I would never draft a lefty in my entire life.
Kenny Stabler, Steve Young. I disagree with you. Sorry, and I'll bounce it up to generational again.
Name me 3 Hall of Fame lefty quarterbacks.
I just named you 2.
Yeah,
name me 3. You can't.
There might be another one. I just don't know he's lefty. But
he had to go there because now I'm going to find out, mother.
You can't. There's only 2.
Why, you looked?
Steve Young and fucking
the Raiders. So you pulled my cousin Vinny, where the question's freaking rigged?
Yeah, it is rigged.
That's what you did? So get the fuck out of here.
But as far as generational goes, I'll give you something more recent. Lamar Jackson. People get so enamored with his running ability, they don't realize how much he accomplished passing in college. There's a reason why he won the Heisman in his sophomore year. And then the year after that, when his wide receiving talent left and went to the pros or left and through attrition, he had a group of guys that were basically no-name guys. He passed for more yards, I believe, that year, or just as many yards the following year when people had already gotten a look at him. And so my point is, what we saw Caleb do wasn't, hell, Donovan McNabb was doing the same shit as Syracuse. It wasn't generational. And here's the thing. Outside the Red River rivalry, when he came in, when he was at Oklahoma, came in and helped save the game because Spencer Rattler was rattled, and they were losing to Texas horribly. He comes in, Caleb comes in, wins that game. Name me a meaningful game in college that Caleb won. I don't know if he has that winning. If you're generational, you were winning those games. The closest they came to winning the Pac-12 championship was his first year at USC. I know he was banged up when they played Utah, but that was the second time they played Utah. His 2 years at USC, he lost to Utah 3 times. Generational guys don't keep losing to the same. Well, actually, Peyton Manning did, but we didn't call Peyton Manning.
Can you possibly tell me that Patrick Mahomes, you would have viewed him as generational?
No,
you can't use college as a stepping stone.
No. You're missing my point. My point is, this is the assessment that was filling people's head about Caleb. My thing is, it's not about the fucking quarterback. It should be about your team, and then you can insert your quarterback. Mahomes was drafted to a team that was already been to several playoffs already.
He was drafted to a team with a great head coach.
No, a playoff team. The team, yes, a great head coach, but the team had been to the playoffs, I think, 2 or 3 out of the 4 years that Andy Reid had been there. They'd been to the playoffs the year before he got there.
But if Mahomes got drafted to the Vikings, who went to the playoffs the year that our third string quarterback took him to the championship, if they drafted Mahomes, would he be Mahomes? No, he would not be.
Yes, you're proving my point.
Because of Andy Reid.
You're proving, no, not just Andy Reid, the team, the organization. You're proving my point. You're proving my point is that you don't have to take Caleb to have a great team. And that was his sole focus. Everything he did, his due diligence wasn't to the whole of the draft when it came to those quarterbacks in that first round, the Jayden Daniels, Drake May, Penix, and Michael Penix, and J.J. McCarthy, and Bo Nix. It wasn't to that. It was to making sure that Caleb was what he thought Caleb was, that Caleb wasn't this me first type kind of person and all these other things, making sure that Caleb was a good dude. He didn't do as much as due diligence and finding out as much as he could about the other quarterbacks, because I believe if he truly did, you'd have to come away saying, is it possible that we can trade down at least to Washington because Caleb is from that area, not ask for the farm, but get enough animals, not ask for the barn, but get enough animals on that farm, and maybe even possibly trade down again. I'm not saying you had to, but you should at least trade it down once to be able to imbue your team organization with more players, more talent.
I'm going to push back on you because you started off your rant by saying that Poles is the problem. So if we did trade for the Hall, problem. Okay, so if we did trade for the Hall, let's just say we did, how confident would you have been, or we can't even speculate on that because it's been a year now, but how confident do you think that Ryan Poles would have drafted the right players with that Hall? He could have drafted Penix, and Penix sucks, and then drafted the other players that didn't pan out.
Two things. I'll answer your question. I get where you're going. 2 things. One, I'm not saying he had to go all the way down to 7, 8, 9, or he didn't have to. I said you could just gone one. You could just gone to Jayden Daniels, because here's how you answer the critics. Well, I traded down, but I got the most recent Heisman Trophy winner, and not only that, but he's more explosive. He doesn't hold on to the ball as long. His deep ball accuracy has been consistent. And he's been learning in a pro-ready offense under Kelly. And he played in the toughest conference at that time in college football. And if it wasn't the toughest, it wasn't any worse than the second toughest. So yeah, and you're getting a guy who is taller, to your point, somebody who's not scraping 6'1", someone who's a legit 6'3", someone who's more explosive when he runs the ball, and someone who people are like, oh, he's slender. I'm like, yeah, so is Lamar Jackson. Oh, he's going to get hurt. The only time Lamar and some of these other running quarterbacks, Cam Newton, Lamar, and even Josh Allen, have gotten hurt is when they've been standing in the pocket, holding on to the ball, trying to make a play downfield. when they're running, they can discern where the damage is coming from, get out of bounds and get down, which was what they pretty much do. Josh Allen runs into people, but for the most part, they get out the way and they save themselves that way. So yeah, you could have answered by trading down to J.D. Downs. I don't think that would have been so horrible, because and to answer your other question, you trust him to get the talent? That's my point, was that haul gives you margin for error. You increase your margin for error by being able to draft either more players or a couple of players to the same position. So you look at what the Atlanta Falcons did this year in the draft. What did they do? They draft 2 edge rushers, Pierce and the kid out of Georgia. They both showed up, on Sunday night, wreaking havoc. But one or the other should probably work when you're getting high draft picks like that. If they both work out, whoa, it's awesome. I'm just saying, inefficient. He did not maximize. And here's the other issue. We're focusing a lot on the draft here. The other problem when it came to Poles was your fucking coaching staff. Yeah. Poles took the job here, and he agreed and signed off on Eberflus. That wasn't his guy.
I agree.
They had already decided. They told Poles, okay, take one of these 3 guys that we figured out.
Agreed.
Yeah. So he agreed to that, and then you come back with Shane Waldron. That's on Poles. And then not that, but the other guys that Eberflus hired at his coaching staff, that still goes back to the GM, because you get one guy doing stuff that he gets fired because HR is like, you got to go. Use a defensive coordinator before the season even begins. So yeah, that's on the GM. So yeah, the GM's a big part of the problem. Is he the only problem? No. Is he a big part of it? Oh yeah, a big piece of the pie, maybe a couple pieces of pie, go to him.
But do you not agree that Ben will help him in the future? This is year 1 of the 2 together.
Who made these picks this year? All these offensive players.
I believe they both. It definitely Ben has a big influence. I don't think that the picks are necessarily bad. It's just that they didn't get some of the things that they needed, and this is where, if you have an astute GM, as you're trading back
right now,
yes, as you're trading back, you need this to make this work. You should have said, you know what? If Luther Burden is like, okay, hey, Ben, I know he's fallen to you, but we really should get a left tackle, or we really need said edge rusher. There'll be another slot receiver. They could have got the kid Noel out of Iowa State as a slot guy. He can do the same thing Luther does. He's maybe not as quick per se, but he's freaking athletic. He's pretty stupid as well. He went to Houston.
He's on the bench for the last 2 weeks too, because I drafted him in my fantasy, man.
Yeah, Houston's got 2 of the Iowa State wide receivers.
Yep.
But Joel Noel, he you could have gotten him and had an offensive lineman, a better offensive lineman, or offensive lineman more suited to what you need, be it on the left side or what have you. And here's the other thing: you don't have enough drafts. Like you need some interior offensive linemen too. I mean, you have to be more efficient. And there's been an issue. There's been a consistent issue of efficiency or inefficiency when it comes to him drafting. It just has been. I mean, hopefully, if Doomsday works out, how many receivers has he gone after that worked out?
Who?
None of them. None of them.
Wait,
hell, look,
DJ Moore has worked out.
No, that he drafted.
Oh, yeah.
That he drafted.
Yeah, it's
How many has he drafted? Like 3?
Doomsday, Burden.
You got Scott.
No, drafter.
There's Scott.
Tyler Scott. Tyler Scott did not work out.
There's probably like 7 of them, and then the trade for what's his name from Pittsburgh,
Claypool.
Yeah.
But we were talking
and
about
that doesn't even bother me that Claypool played, because he tried to pull something that.
Yeah, I get that, and that was just your first go around.
But there's like you're saying, there's too many things. He does have too much of a part in this.
I mean,
I was a Poles backer, man, but I mean, I'm not freaking blind either.
I mean, listen, I'm not blind either, but I just think that you have to allow. You can't just rinse and repeat again. You have to. No. I'm glad that they re-signed Poles, because I think that if you add more years to Poles' contract, Ben Johnson is going to help Ryan Poles with the decisions for the team, that because if they don't work in sync together for the players that Ben Johnson needs on this team, then obviously that's a complete failure. And so therefore I think that they will. So to align their contracts, to me, was like washing off the rinse and repeat thing that the Bears do all the time. This guy doesn't like this guy, so they fire that guy, and then we hire this guy, 2 years in or a year in, and he fires that guy and fires this guy, and then and then it's just like at the very least, it's like the most hope that I have for this team in a long time, because they're not rinsing and repeating what they've done for decades. So I just think that to jump on the Ryan Poles, he's not doing, I don't want to say hatred, but the Ryan Poles bandwagon of we shouldn't have hired him. Go ahead.
I keep hearing you say rinse and repeat, which is funny because you're rinsing and repeating by saying rinse and repeat. Which
but it is rinse and repeat.
Here's my question for you. If you have someone that's not doing the job, are you not rinsing and repeating with him doing the same inefficient job?
Okay.
Just a question.
Let's say that I hire you to come in to my company and learn how to do CAD work on circuit boards. Okay, and you have very limited experience, and then I fire you after 2 years because you haven't lived up to your expectations that I thought of you.
You said 2 years.
But if I didn't, what?
This hasn't been 2 years.
Well, what has been Pulse? 4 years? 3 years?
Going on.
Okay, so, but,
and you're hemorrhaging.
But if
I'm costing you money.
No, let me finish.
Okay, all right.
If I know that it is so difficult to find someone at your position to do a good job, and I allow you to learn on the job, and I allow you to learn from your mistakes, it's only going to make you a better employee of mine, because yes, you're going to make mistakes when you first learn. You don't even know how we do it as an industry, but you don't know how we do it as a company. And if I can just bring you on and allow you to make the mistakes and not just shit on you and dump you and fire you, because that's what the fans or the media or you guys are saying that we should do. If I just give you a little bit more time to learn on the job, because you're new at it, it's your first time at this position, then I give you, a coach like Ben Johnson, or I bring in a new manager that manages you to teach you differently. Wouldn't you think that it would behoove you or me as a company to keep you on a little bit longer so that you can keep learning from your mistakes? Listen, how do you learn, Glenn? You learn by mistakes. And if you don't make mistakes, you cannot learn from them. So, back in the day, the Steelers are on their third head coach of all time.
Not of all time. In your lifetime, but not of all time. The Steelers weren't some franchise that just began in the 70s.
The Steelers are on their third head coach of all time.
No, not of all time.
Carl, please look that up.
It's not of all time.
No,
in your life. No, I'm literally not. It's in your lifetime.
The Steelers had.
How many? I don't know how many, but it's not just 3. It's in our lifetime. It's been 3.
It's 3. It's 3 total.
When do you think the Steelers began as an organization?
I don't know, but the first head coach was.
No, in your lifetime.
Yeah, Carl.
I'm telling you,
calm down, buddy. It's like 7. There's like 7 or 10 of them.
Yes, the Steelers have been. They've been around since like the 40s or the 50s, dude.
Yes, but they
First ever head coach, Forrest Dudds. Second, Luby. Third, Joe Bach. John McNally. And Walt Kiesling. And that was the Pittsburgh Pirates. It was technically the same franchise.
Okay, keep
then
going.
Then it became the Steelers. Yeah. And the Steelers, Burt Bell, Aldo Denali, Walt Kiesling, Jim Leonard, Jock Sutherland, John, I don't even know how to say that name again. With the Joe Bach.
Am I in right now?
I tried to help you out in your lifetime.
Three head coaches since the 70s, Shorty. Chuck Noll started in
Yes.
1969, and then it went from there. But
Yes.
there's a lot
I
that happened
apologize.
before then.
I thought Chuck Noll was their first head coach, and then
I
it went.
tried to help you out in your life.
He sure did.
I'm just saying, going forward, to say in my lifetime they've had 3 head coaches, and that's still pretty fucking significant. You're right. It's a huge thing. But they didn't suck.
Well, they did suck their entire. If you go back and you look at the entire history of the Steelers, they sucked until Noel came on.
Right.
And they drafted this terrible quarterback. I think his last name was Bradshaw. He was terrible.
Which should have been our
4
quarterback.
seasons. He was terrible.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. There was another guy that was pretty terrible a few years back. I think his name was Allen something. Josh Allen.
I feel like I'm like in like one of those Nelson Mandela moments. Like you ever heard about the Mandela effect?
Mm-hmm.
No.
It's where history has shown something that you remember differently, and like for example, a Mandela effect would be the Mandela effect. Like Glenn Foster, do you remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison or getting out of prison and then dying after that?
Definitely getting out of prison and becoming the president and dying much later.
Okay, so a lot of people remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison. So another one is, do you remember the
Aladdin?
The movie Aladdin?
The animated one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, with Sinbad.
Oh.
Sinbad was in a movie called Aladdin, and he was like a genie that came out of a bottle.
I'm so glad I don't. It seems very traumatic.
You're part of the Mandela effect that does not remember it. Even Sinbad himself says, "I never made that movie." Yet, I fucking.
Well, I just didn't know it existed as a bad movie. That's not the same
on VHS. You can buy it right now. So
anyway,
I can't believe I was wrong on that, because I swear to God, my entire life I have known it to be that Chuck Noll was the first coach of the Steelers, and then it was Coward, and then
5 Steelers coaches in my life.
I apologize. I'm an asshole. Whatever my point was to that.
For sure 4, but I believe 5 in my life.
What was my point though? Where was I going with that?
You don't have one.
Something about building an organization being built from the ground up and being stable.
Right. Yeah. Right. So I guess I can
not firing people. Is what you're saying. At some point.
Yeah. Right. Like allowing them to develop. And so
I get that.
We you know when you have a shitty head coach.
There's one, but I don't remember this. This is a perfect one because everybody keeps saying this, and I'm like, no, you guys are nuts. He was never good. Never.
He had
no.
He had one good day.
Scrolls, you're
one good day.
Scrolls, you are
against
wrong.
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep, that's it.
Scrolls, you are wrong. Mitch Trubisky he still holds several quarterback records for the Bears.
It's like being the shortest.
And how hard is that?
It's like being the tallest short person.
I think it was like completion percentage and passes thrown without an interception. Mitch holds records. Carl, as the producer, I hope to be able to pull that up. But
Bayless Jones, thank you. I'm a Tennessee guy, and I'm trying to forget.
That's got it right. The movie was Shazam.
No.
Shazam. Thank you, Zach. It was Shazam.
Oh, are you sure? Are you talking about Kazam? You talking about the one with Shaq? You talking about Kazam?
No, Kazam was with Shaq. It was the remake of Shazam. That's where that's part of the Mandela effect. Okay, let me finish my point. I'm going through my notes, but we've covered a bunch of them.
He was never good.
I want to get to
exactly.
A really just side note. You said the running game was so good with Justin. Well, that was because Justin was a great running quarterback.
Not just
he made a running, huh?
Not it became, yes, he definitely added to it over 1,000 yards. But I'm saying, even without Justin, they were still averaging, I think, over 4-point-something yards per carry, whatever. It still would have been like top 10 even without Justin.
Because we had Montgomery and we had Herbert, and they were
they didn't do that in the third, guys.
But the threat with the what is it called, the dual option? that's probably what helped that as well, in my opinion, to
Well,
Shorty's point.
And then
Yeah, I mean, you're all are right, but the offensive line was better at run blocking than it was pass protection. I'm just saying that the Bears currently overcorrected. They made, because again, 68 sacks and the problems that Justin had being in the pocket. You want to get better pass protection. That's great, but these guys aren't really they aren't road graders. They're not guys that for Ben Johnson's offense. You need guys that are going to look like the guys on the Detroit Lions or the Indianapolis Colts, guys that can move people.
Hey,
2 weeks,
the Vikings
massive
did a
sample
pretty good
size.
job of that in the second half of that first game. If you go back and look at the tape, mauling up, just pushing us off the ball and running behind the line.
Well, you're right, Carl. It's just 2 weeks, and
no. I'm sorry. I literally cut myself off. I have a gigantic 2-week sample size to let you know that I'm pretty sure currently the Chicago Bears are first in yards per carry before contact. So the running backs are able to get to the line of scrimmage without being tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Yet I think specifically DeAndre Swift is 32nd in EPA per rush. So our running back room is dreadful. It's just bad.
Agreed.
The
running back room.
Agreed.
I agree.
Okay, so let me finish expounding on everything that you said. I'm almost done. Okay, Glenn.
We got a bunch of questions, man.
Yeah. So I want to go back to what you said about Caleb. And I'm going somewhere with all of this. This is all going to expound into one thing I'm about to finish it with. But I'll let you guys, talk about this. You said about Caleb. Caleb, in my mind, he is like thinking too quickly. It's like almost you can see it in real time.
Yes, he needs to slow down.
He is like overamped. The ball's coming out too quick. Like he sees the field almost too well, and we have to just amp that down a little bit to where he is just a little bit more relaxed. And I don't think he's a pocket passer. I really don't. I think you have to move it around a little bit, create the passing lanes for him, move him out of the pocket. He's better out of the reason why he gets out of the pocket and runs for his life is because when the pocket breaks down, he sees the field better because of his height. And so I just think that in the moments where you try to keep him in the pocket and he overthrows the ball, like 2 weeks ago, DJ and Komet and just overthrowing the middle, it's to me that is something that we all just have to fucking relax on as Bears fans and realize that all he has to do is settle down, learn the offense, know where the plays are going, and know where the ball is going, and then he can deliver it on time. Right now, I think he's just seeing it too quickly, and he's getting rid of it too quickly. And we saw that like many times in the last couple of games. And I'm not even going to blame that. Listen, this is kind of to my next point. If you want to expound on that before I go to that. But if you do, please do.
I have those Bears QB stats if you're looking for them.
Yes.
I agree half of what you're saying. I believe I agree with you that he's rushing everything. He's not allowing things enough to mature or breathe. Even Troy Aikman, commented on that the first week of the game, first week of the season, against Minnesota, the first game. And I don't think it's because he can't see. I don't think because he's seeing the field so well. I think he's like most young people. He's a bit impatient. He has to slow it down. He is in a hurry. He wants it to happen. If you look at what he's pretty much done his entire career, like he wanted to be the starter right away when he got to Oklahoma. It's like you might have to pay your dues a little bit. Chance came, he took it, he grabbed it, went with it. Okay. He wanted to be the first pick overall. It's like he wants to do all these things. He has these goals. He's very goal oriented. He's driven. I'm not saying other people aren't. I'm saying that he is at a more. It's more of a thing for him. He wants everything now, and that's young people do that. But you've got to slow it down. You've got to let things breathe and mature, and that's going to come with time. But I do still believe that he is in love with his ability to throw the ball outside the pocket. I think he loves doing that. And it's not a horrible thing. It's just that
he sees the field better.
I don't know that it's so much that he sees the field better. I'm not saying it won't help him see the field better. I don't think he does it because he needs to see the field better. I think he does it because he enjoys doing it. There's a certain thrill I think he gets when he can do the exceptional, because he does that. He's in love with it because that's been what he's been doing since high school. That's part of who he is. That's part of his gunslinger mentality. For him, it's roll. There's not a lot of people who can roll to their left and throw as accurately if you're a right-handed quarterback going to your left like he does. But he enjoys doing that. You can just tell. He gets a thrill. It's like I'm in my bag. I won't just look. There's a lot of problem. I mean, Aldo, yeah, certainly there's still a culture issue. It's going to take some time for guys to acclimate. There's issues with Poles, there's issue with Caleb, issue with offensive line, issue with the defense that we hadn't really got to, which was the title of the show coming in. There's issue with depth on the team now. There's a lot of things. It's going to take some time, which is why it's funny when people think because of certain moves or players that come to the team. Like I always say, this is an echo chamber here in Chicago sometimes, because we think, okay, we got these guys, we're ready to go. I'm like, well, you realize that other 31 teams are getting guys too, right? That they're all trying to do things to make improvements. It's going to take time, and it has to work together. And I understand your point about trying to keep some kind of continuity. Was your argument, Dan, about keeping continuity. Keeping polls is part of that. I get that to some degree. I have an issue if you have an organization or your business, as the example that you gave, if I'm costing you money and I keep making the same type of mistakes. And I'd say if you're keeping me on, you're a magnanimous person and you're wealthy because you can afford me to keep making mistakes. And
I agree with you, but I think that you would have to give him at least one more year with Ben to figure that out before you can complain about that.
But then you're going to end up doing what you're saying anyway, which is,
rinsing and repeating.
So I think, you just have to do a better job at your personnel assessment. And maybe Poles is not here's the thing. Maybe Poles is not the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's something that has to be addressed. Just like, Ben Johnson, some people might be wondering, is Caleb the guy?
Not me.
Some people may, not because he's not talented, but is he the guy that's going to find a way to get the win? It's very difficult. It starts to become, this is where the noise of Caleb and what he's going to start hearing. And probably something to some degree, Caleb may be trying too much to overcome or to, sometimes you can try too hard. Here's the thing. Here's the noise.
Do you realize he had like 6 comeback drives to win a game last year that they finally won the last one against Green Bay? And I'm not even going to bring up Justin because he had about 5 or 6 in his career too. But last year he had like 5 or 6 comeback drives to win the game, scored a touchdown, they lost the game. Scored a touchdown, they lost the game. Scored a touchdown, drove them down to kick a field goal, it got blocked. Scored a touchdown, lost the game. The final one, they won it against Green Bay. You can't, this is all leading up to what I'm about to get into, is you can't put that all on the quarter. We are judging last year a rookie quarterback for not being able to win 6 comeback drives. We are now going into year 2 with him learning a new offense with a rookie head coach, and we are expecting him to just perform magic. And yet here we go. And this is to my final point of everything all of my notes, okay? Why the fuck are we not talking about our defense?
Oh.
We have constantly been known for defense. What are we known for, guys? Defense, running backs, linebackers, okay? We gave up 52 points last week and lost by 31. You expect a second-year quarterback that everyone wants to be, like everyone is assuming he's just going to be Patrick Mahomes in his second year.
I never assumed that.
From like a constant 20-point lead or a 20-point deficit to win a game that we lost by 31. This is why I said as I was watching the game, just pull him. Like don't pull Caleb because he's not playing well. Pull him because there's no chance of winning, and you don't want to injure him. And finally, they put Bajan in, and everyone that we were at watching the watch party was like, "Yeah, Bajan's in the game." It's like, Bajan is in the game right now because we're trying not to get our fucking starting quarterback hurt, because there's no way you can come back from 30 points because we've been trying the whole game and it doesn't matter anymore. What happened to our defense? We are known for defense. We should be sitting here not even talking about now an hour and a half about fucking offense. This game had nothing to do with offense.
Yes, it did.
They matched them 1-1 on the first two drives, on the first drive of the game. Lions scored, we scored. We held them. They held us. We held them. They held us. We get a fumble. They score. Then they get then we're trying to come back. Caleb throws a pick. We score or they score. And then from that point, we're down by two touchdowns. And then now we're trying to come back. At some point in that game, it became you have no choice but to pass the ball. You can't run the ball anymore. Fuck the running game at that point. The running game is done. We have to come back from 20-plus points, and we can't do it. They know that we're going to be passing the ball. They're sending all their rushers. And on top of that, the Lions, this was a revenge game for them for taking their fucking offensive coordinator away from them. O'Toole in our chat here. He's a fucking amazing Lions fan. He's in here respectfully agreeing with us. And
I agree with you, Aldo.
He's not an asshole. He's a Lions fan who preaches it like it is. We love you, O'Toole. Fuck Don Bohr, but O'Toole, you are the man. And I'm
not giving up on Caleb.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and I love your rant. I appreciate it. It's totally directed, I think, at the wrong argument.
Our defense collapsed.
I'll let you know. Just let me know when you're done ranting.
Let me finish. The Lions were so upset. Have you watched the St. Brown podcast? They were so pissed about us taking their Ben Johnson made the Lions, not Dan Campbell. Every Lions fan, I'm sure you can agree, O'Toole. No. Ben Johnson made the Lions. Then Dan Campbell allowed him to make the Lions, but we took the guy that made the Lions. And this was a statement game for them. Like I was actually proud of the Lions for coming out and just kicking our fucking ass, because it proved that they were. It really truly proved that they were that upset that we took their main guy.
Had nothing to do with that.
No. I disagree with you. Go ahead.
You can. Yeah, I think that they got their ass physically handled by Green Bay. We were a road bump in their way, or a road, or whatever.
No,
we were whipping boys, Glenn.
We were their main focus. They were planning for us before the Green Bay game. That's probably why they lost it. They were looking past the Green Bay game to kick our ass.
I wouldn't kid myself on that.
Here's the thing. These are grown men. They're not jealous or mad at us because we quote unquote took their head coach. He was leaving anyway. He wanted a job. If they're going to be mad at anybody,
O'Toole, can you please tell me if I'm wrong?
If they're going to be mad at anybody, you'll be mad at Ben Johnson for leaving. So whatever team Ben Johnson would go on, it would be like, hey, we're just going to let you know you didn't make us.
Right. That's why we're going to kick whoever's team ass.
But it wasn't because they were mad at us or the Bears. The Bears were inconsequential. And on top of the fact, we're a division opponent that they're going to see twice. You send a message. You send a message early. Whoever the Lions were playing the week after they lost to the Green Bay was going to get some. We just happened to be that team. And on top of the fact that you, Campbell, and the Lions, you don't want to let the persons that leave, you don't want to give them any purchase to stand on. But it wasn't like so personal in terms of we're mad at you. It's like, you know what? We're going to put you in check, let you know. And that's fine. But the other thing about Caleb, no one was expecting Caleb to bring the team back. And I'm not saying Caleb cost the team the game. And I'm not saying the defense gave up 52 because the defense was so bad. There were things the defense did erroneously, without a doubt. Their communication was really bad. I believe that they're still learning. As much as you talk about Caleb learning a new offense, these are guys learning a new coordinator in his system. And some of these players have played together for a couple of years under a different system. So there are times where their miscommunication happens. Their miscommunication happens because they're expecting their teammate to be where they thought that they would be based on the team concept that they were playing with before. And so you're seeing times when Williams gets that big touchdown pass and there's 3 defensive backs chasing them. That was a breakdown. It wasn't because they're so bad. They can't be as good as they were the first 3 quarters against Minnesota. And then all of a sudden, I'm just saying there's a lot that they're still learning. The defense is still learning. But here's my thing. The 52 points doesn't lay completely at the defense's feet because, as Aldo pointed out, the offense was so bad that the 3 and outs kept the defense out there, for one. 2, there were things the offense did in terms of
squash it. 40-second difference between time of possession there. 40 seconds. That's it. So I gotta squash that.
No. You can have the time of possession. All those things can be skewed when you're out there and you're getting your butt handed to you and you're chasing. You're getting out physical because you're out there because the offense is not doing what it can, so you can catch a breather.
So it
makes
pity
it very
party.
difficult.
You think that the Bears defense would play better if the offense was just keeping up? You're okay with the Bears giving up 50 points?
I'm saying 52 points wouldn't happen. The loss was still going to happen. No doubt it's embarrassing. The loss was still going to happen. I'm not throwing a pity party. I'm being very pragmatic. You can't, with your offense, in terms of being effective and efficient, it could have been a high-scoring game. It could have been going back and forth. But what did the offense do? You're getting pre-snap situations where you're getting penalties. You're getting holding calls. You're doing things where, you gain 2 yards. Right. And so what happens is the defense has to go back out there again. And now you're giving up field position on top of all that. And the fact that the defense is still having communication problems. It's not just one thing. What I'm saying is all that 52 isn't all on the defense. The offense is a part of it because football is a complementary sport. Just as if your pass rush, if you don't have much of a pass rush, your secondary is going to look worse than what it is. If you got a really good secondary, sometimes you can help out your pass rush. But you have to be complementary football.
Starting on the day 3 of the 2025 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears were a one-dimensional offense. They failed to address the running back position, and outside of a miraculous trade, that was always going to be skewed up against Caleb Williams. So the offense already is not complementary, in my opinion.
No argument there. Again, it goes back to my saying the inefficiency with polls. You've got to be able to see. If we all can see these things, you can't tell me the person who's making 6-figure, 7-figure income, and that's his job, that he can't see those things. You have to address it. What did the Packers do the year before? They went and got Josh Jacobs. There was a whole bunch of free agent running backs. We got DeAndre Swift.
Pretty sure we pursued Swift before they even pursued Jacobs as well. So very embarrassing signing, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of DeAndre Swift whatsoever.
I agree.
But so you've got Ben Johnson coming to a team where he just left a team that got rid of DeAndre Swift. You can't tell me he did, and not only that, but brought Montgomery over from the Bears. So there are a lot of things that this team needs to do, and in order for it to look similarly to what Johnson wants to have to replicate the successes of his offense, you need a better offensive line, one that can run block better than this one does, but also pass protect. You got to have running backs that have the versatility to run and catch the ball so that when they're in there, it's not a dead giveaway that they're running or passing. Or that when you have a guy run the ball who's a perimeter guy that, even Jahmyr Gibbs from time to time runs inside, but you don't run him inside all the time. There are times when Montgomery, you can flex him out. Montgomery's a pretty good pass catcher. He's not a great route runner in terms of running a lot of varied routes, but he's a good pass catcher. He can do a Texas route. He can do a wheel route. He can go out in the flats. He can block. All these things. I'm just saying there's a lot that has to be done. So back to my DJ Moore thing, that's kind of something that you can use to help implement a team. But back to your Caleb thing real quick. Your argument about Caleb. What I'm saying is there are times when your perception is greater than people. The perception of what's going on starts to become a problem. And that's where it's going to become a problem for Caleb, because the perception is, can you win the big game? Everything I'm bringing up is the things that people are going to start saying. When was the last time you won a meaningful game? When was the last time you played a meaningful game to win? And how did you do with that? And the problem becomes, the perception becomes the reality when you have a guy like J.J. McCarthy, who hasn't played a game in basically 2 years, comes out on national TV, looks like shit for 3 quarters.
1-2, by the way.
Looks like shit for 3 quarters, but somehow finds a way to get the game won.
No,
when you have a guy, follow what I'm saying. Follow what I'm saying.
Glenn.
Follow what I'm saying here. You're missing the point of what I'm saying. I'm talking about Caleb and the perception. Here's the thing: you have to deal with what your struggles are, and whatever it is, you have to be able to tune out the noise. And the noise is us. I get that, but it does seep in there. And then, because even if it doesn't seep into Caleb's mind, he could be feeling it with his teammates. He could be feeling it with the coaching staff. And how does he rear his head? This motherfucker keeps rolling out. I'm trying to block for him. He's rolling out, and he runs to a fucking sack, and it's my ass. Here's the other thing, and this is a lark. I understand what I'm about to say is a bit of a lark. This is just a Glynn lark. Okay, so I'm not saying necessarily has credence, but it just makes me wonder. And this is way out left field. Okay, a little esoteric left field. I'm not big into astrology, but every now and again, that shit makes me scratch my head and go, you know what? That's pretty fucking close. Anybody know what Caleb's astrological sign is? No? Okay, I'll tell you. I don't expect you to know. He's a Scorpio. Okay? I'm a Scorpio. Are you a Scorpio, Carl?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm a Capricorn.
Well, this is why we get...
You must understand me more by me saying that now.
That you're a Capricorn? Well, my brother is, so I get it. But so you're an earth sign. Carl, we're water signs. Water and earth go together. Fire and water go together. Anyway, Caleb's a water sign. He's a Scorpio. Now, out of all the zodiac signs, the Scorpios, they're like the enigmatic of all the zodiac signs. And about being a water sign, things run deep with them. They internalize a lot. Scorpios, they're good by them. They can be like, I'm good. I don't have to be in the crowd, but I can be with the crowd, but I don't have to be in the crowd. I could be off on my own. There are times when Caleb, you can tell he cares. I think he definitely cares. I think he probably cares more than he probably should in some respects. But when he internalizes, he's not so much that he's mad at his teammates or whatever. He's like, damn it, I could have done better. I need to do better. It's not like in terms of a selfish. It's more like I got to do better. He takes the weight of the world on himself. So he internalizes. And when you do that, you tend to be off to yourself at times. If people understand that about you, it's cool. Most people don't have the time. In college, you have a group of people who are all around the same age. You all more or less live together or around each other. Even though I know Caleb had his own apartment, I get that. But you're around these guys all the time. They get to know you because there's more time to get to know you. And everyone's around the same age, same interests and stuff. It's like, you know what? No, dude's not like that at all. How many times do you hear his teammates defend his USC teammates defending him? No, he's not selfish. He's a good dude. He's all this. Because the perception was he was selfish. He was me-oriented. Now, you take that and extrapolate that to him being a pro now. If he's pissed off because of what happened on the field and he's internalizing and he doesn't really communicate because he's off to the side and it looks like he's pouting or sulking, grown-ass men could be like, man, what the fuck is he doing? Like, man, look, dude, you fucking up my shit. If I'm DJ Moore, I'm frustrated because, dude, you messing me up. I got a family to support. These are grown men. Nobody's going home to the same place. Everyone's not like on a college campus. These are grown men with their own lives. And it's hard sometimes to understand a Scorpio unless you're around them because you think that they could be standoffish. But they're very loyal.
My
but if
father
you
was
piss,
Scorpion. I get it.
But if you piss them off,
Yeah.
you piss them off, they don't necessarily say go fuck you. They'll
Hey.
stop talking to you.
Glenn, case in point, right here on the screen. I hear what you're saying. Anyway, move on.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that right now, his teammates are still learning him. Caleb has to. It's not that he's a charismatic guy. He's an ingratiating person. He's thoughtful. He's conscientious. He's all these things, but at the same time, he can be off to himself because he internalizes. So it's going to take time for everyone to learn how to to maneuver around one another. But the problem becomes perception-wise when you see the guys that are drafted after him find ways to get games won. And you find yourself saying here, well, Jayden didn't have as much skill guys as Caleb did, or Drake May didn't have the talent that Caleb had, and he came here to Chicago and won. Jaden McCarthy hasn't played for 2 years, but yet he found a way to win. People start to doubt and the question, and this is the problem that is starting to rear its head a bit, and this is what Caleb and the Bears are going to have to solve. So there's a lot of things going on here. It's not just one thing, and I'm pretty sure Caleb's aware of that, but until you start to get some wins, you're talking what? He's played, 19 games? And he's only won 6.
You're talking about a quarterback in his second year learning a brand new offense with a rookie head coach.
It goes out the window. It goes out the window when you look at the successes of some of the. Bo Nix got to the playoffs last year in arguably one of the toughest divisions. Three of those teams went to the playoffs. I don't care
about any other scenario.
Wins are not a QB stat.
Okay?
I understand, but quarterbacks are the most important position, but they're the most independent position.
You are correct. And that's why I think that we need to stop fucking shitting on the quarterback when we give up 27 and 52 points in 2 games. This focus of this conversation should be about why in the fucking hell is our defense giving up 27 and 52 points?
Why isn't our offense scoring 24, 27
points in 2 games?
Because our offense is one-dimensional, Foster.
I was being rhetorical, Carl. You didn't have to jump in with that.
Almost 90 points, 85 points or so in 2 games. And we're sitting here for an hour and 51 minutes shitting on the offense when we should be talking about why in the fuck is our defense so bad? That's the fucking question of this entire show. And I've been trying to get all the way to
Jalen Johnson hasn't been healthy. TJ Edwards got the hamstring situation.
52 points.
You've
52
got
points, though. 52 points means it was a statement game against the line. We need to put this game aside. We need to just take this game and delete it from our memory.
Don't
this
delete
was
it.
the Lions going, fuck you, Bears.
Okay, that's what you do with history. Let's ignore history so that we can't learn anything from it.
No, you don't delete it. You use this and you.
Absolutely.
I tell you, Campbell did him a favor. I totally believe that, and it didn't matter that we were the the speed bump is what I was trying to say earlier. We were the speed bump, on the road. They whoever the Lions were going to play, they were going to go through them as best they could. But you got to keep in mind, too, that the Lions know Ben Johnson as much as Ben Johnson may know the Lions. But I will say this Lions coaching staff, he may not know them as well as the coaching staff may know him, or people from the team may know him. Because those guys haven't had to call plays before, but they know how Johnson calls plays. Field position, home field event. There's a lot of reasons why the momentum, all these things led into the point. It's not the first time we see our team get their ass whooped. I think the defense will be better as the season progresses. The first year Eberflus was here, it took a while before the defense got better. And then about halfway through, all of a sudden, the defense looked a lot better. And it was really good later on because the guys had to get used to what was expected of them. Same thing with this.
They hired their coordinator, and Eberflus became the defensive coordinator too.
Yeah, but it takes a while. It takes a moment. You can't use the argument, or you pick a leg. You do whatever you want to do. But if your argument is that Caleb and by extension other players on the team are learning a new offense, these guys are learning a new defense because this is a different type of defense. This puts a lot more onus on the boundary cornerbacks. It just does. There's a lot more man-to-man type stuff. You need to get upfield more. There's other things that you have to do. And sometimes these guys switching from single high to, too deep to whatever, they may not be as used to doing it. So the communication is bad. So you get these big chunk plays. Not to mention that the Lions are pretty freaking good and that we still need more talent. Yes, personnel wise.
If we could try and parse through some data, I mean, when we walked into the season, we said, "Oh man, we have essentially similar personnel to the Eberflus scheme, but now we have a defensive coordinator that's aggressive and that's going to have a little bit more of an aggressive tendency." Well, data suggests over a measly 2 weeks, we're 31st in the NFL at blitz rate. We only blitz at 10%, 11%. For the record, the Broncos are the number one team at blitz rate at 50%. So if we have dog shit corners to begin with, and our corners are injured, why are we relying on them on covering for an extended period of time? Why are we not bringing the blitz and forcing the issue? If you're already going to give up big plays on occasion because of the scheme itself, live by the sword, die by the sword, man. Deo Odengbo, Montez Sweat, one of the highest paid duos, edge rushers, NFL currently, they can't cut the cheese, man. They can't. Juice is not worth the squeeze. They're not good enough. So bring the blitz.
Well, again, you said a 2-game sample size, so it's just
it needs to turn around fast, is what I'm saying.
We have all lived through this before, and the narrative has always been the same. We all know, and we can all agree that defenses learn quicker than offenses, and we always expect the defense to be better than the offense, and we're going into second-year quarterback, new regime, new offensive coordinator, new offense. I mean, the fucking last thing we wanted was for our second-year quarterback to be learning a new offense, and that's in the past. But now it is what it is. But to sit here and even have the conversation that the problem is the offense or Caleb Williams right now is fucking. It's disgusting to me because
Shorty.
We're gonna all sit here and agree, and I'm sure that we can, that defense is much easier and it's simpler to learn with new regimes. When we went through it, we have rinse and repeat that before. To sit here and have a fucking 2-hour conversation about offense when the problem is the defense right now is bothering me.
You got him again, Glenn. You got him again, dude.
You finished by saying,
Glenn, you got him again. You got him off his high horse.
I love you, Glenn. You fucking zig and I zag and I zag and you zig. And I can never keep up with you. I love you, Glenn.
Let me shut up and say something. I'm not going to shut up and say something. I'm telling Shorty to shut up and I'll say something. So, Shorty, you can say all you want. The defense is like all the problem of the team. No, that's not it. Everybody from the general manager down to the last guy on special teams has not executed to the best of their abilities. I'm talking, you could bring up Ben Johnson. There's a couple things he did. I sat here yelling at my TV. Why are you throwing the red flag on that play?
Fourth down on your own 40 in the first half? Tell him, fuck.
Shut the fuck up, Carl!
Got his ass!
Shut up!
Shut up, Carl!
Give me like a minute. I've been sitting here patiently. So you've got Detroit down. I mean, you had them down. We had them down on the ground. Why do you go for it on 4th and 1? This team ain't there. This ain't the Detroit Lions of 2024 where they're capable of doing it. So my point is this. You can pick everybody, every single player on that team, and they have not executed to the best of their abilities in any way, shape, or form. That needs to be improved in every aspect of the game. We all know it's common sense. It's just common sense. You can see it. So to sit here and say the defense giving up the points, yeah, well, the special teams sucked. Caleb couldn't get the ball down the field in critical times. Some of the calls by the refs screwed the Bears in both.
Can we talk about that when you're done, please?
All I'm ranting about, because this is Foster's fucking soapbox for now. You got to laugh at it, Glenn. It's just go with it. But I mean, reality, dude. Some of the calls, 2 of those calls were critical, and then I'm like, oh, there was a 2nd and 1 call in the Detroit game when we were up in the 3rd quarter, and instead of having a first down, and if you go back and you look at the play, Williams, who deflected the pass, had his face on, I think, Jonah Jackson's face mask pushing it up, but there was no penalty, and the Bears failed to even get the 1 yard on 3rd and 1. So isn't that great? Carl's laughing. I love it. But I mean, come on, man. Every aspect, every player on this team. No continuity. The offense never played one snap together in preseason. I'm talking from the quarterback to the starting running back, the tight ends, every lineman. They didn't play one snap, and we know they played sometime together. But I still don't think that was enough. PJ and I sat here for 3 years going, when are we going to get some physical guys on the interior offensive line and let them play together and get some continuity? Because if you don't have that, what quarterback is going to succeed? It's critical to the game. Same thing on defense. Okay, so we need a 3-tech and a fucking defensive end for 2 years now. That goes back to Poles and the general managership and the coach and everybody. So it's not just one aspect of the game. And I see what you're saying with the defense. All the Bears fans are pissed when we give up fucking 50 points. When we give up 30 points, we're pissed. Because I personally am a guy that says our defense should never give up more than 20 fucking points a game, and it should always be less than 20 points a game, which it was for about 5 weeks last year. I don't know what happened. It seemed to happen when the big Billings went down. If you go back and look at the tape and the timeline, we just started getting steamrolled. Mm-hmm. We went from a top 12 or 13 defense to 28.
Yep.
So it's look in the fucking mirror, and then some of these guys aren't going to be here next year, whether they like it or not. They might not even be here in a few weeks, because it's time to make sure that you're looking at every guy and what the culture is.
Well,
because
that's the thing.
You can't put the culture into perspective that is a winning culture and everybody's on the same page. You're never going to win.
Well, Bears fan 40, I'm not blaming the quarterback. I'm saying that the offense has been a problem. It's just true. It's offense a problem. And when you keep putting that on the defense that's not where it needs to be, it's going to be that much more exposed. The two go hand in hand. And again, when you don't have what you need because your GM is not getting it, you have to start peeling back the onion layers. And you start peeling it back, you start to see like, man, and I said the Lions, I prefaced this at the beginning, the Lions did us a favor. It showed you don't have what it takes yet. This is where you're bad at. And getting the players and the personnel isn't just the guys that are starting. It's the guys that are backing up the guys that are starting, because invariably it's an high attrition sport. The attrition rate is high. You're going to need someone when Billings goes down. The drop off shouldn't be that dramatic that you drop from the top third to the lower third in weeks. It shouldn't be that dramatic. And so, yeah, you need depth. And when you do things like what Poles did and ask Jalen Johnson to restructure his contract, respect that by doing something with the money. Like, go out and get some players. And again, the example I gave, the Eagles are a Super Bowl champion winner. They're the current defending Super Bowl champion. And they still, even if they're 2-0, and said, you know what, we still need more.
Jacksonville's number two running back. Saquon Barkley.
I mean,
at the beginning of the season, you just snag him after game. We need a little more, not the freaking Bears.
And that just goes to show, it's like you see the Chiefs making moves when we need a receiver. They went and got Hopkins last year. Was he, you have to have depth. You have to have the structure in your organization that you understand who you are. Right now, the Bears are still trying to figure out who they are. Are they going to be the Lions? No, they can't be right now because they don't have the personnel on offense, definitely not yet. And on defense, the Lions' defense is decent. It's still not a great defense. They've got some great players, but they've still got some issues. It's not look at the Ravens. The Ravens on paper look really good, and they've given up a lot of points. It's still early. It's still 4 weeks in. You're still figuring. I've always said you don't know who you are until you get to basically October. And then that's pretty much, and even then that can still change, but it gives you an idea to figure out who you're going to be. And then you have to work on that.
So then
wait, Glenn, I always say this. The first 4 weeks are the real preseason.
But
yeah, they really are. They really are.
Based on what you both just said, please eat your words.
About
that
what?
We are not there yet. Like, we cannot. Yes, we're 0-2. Maybe we'll be 1-16. But until we are there, to just jump on this bandwagon of the Bears fucking suck and it's the offense and blah blah blah.
Well, they do.
Giving up 80 points in the last 2 games is fucking ridiculous to me. We all just have to.
Oh, no.
Breathe for a second.
No, you can. Everybody has to emote how they're going to emote.
Agreed.
And
we
that's
we will always
right.
do that.
Right. And you do so, by you I mean collectively all of us. We do so, or you do so because you care. And you can still be critical and still be, valid in whatever your criticisms may be. And then you can debate that, or you can debate, aspects within those criticisms, so within those critiques. And so my criticism, as I said before, what did I start with? I said polls. I started off saying polls is my issue.
Right.
Polls. Because from there, it pretty much, it trickles down, or it cascades down. And so from
you
that,
not wrong in that assessment either.
and so from that, I started looking at other things like, okay, well, what are issues with the quarterback? Because although he's the most important position, he still needs other things around him to help him. But let's be fair. There's been a lot done to help Caleb. Arguably, going into last year, pretty much since the Super Bowl era, collectively across the diaspora of all football, all the pundits nationally and locally were saying, we've never quite seen a quarterback have that much skill talent when he's the first pick overall. Okay, well, clearly the offensive line wasn't addressed. That's a Poles problem. He didn't have a veteran quarterback to help him. That's a Poles thing. Those are little minutia things. I said the problem's in the minutia. It's little things there, but it led to the dam being burst last year. Okay, there's things with Caleb. Okay, you still hold on to the ball too long. Well, the offense is not going to be effective or function the way it needs to if you're holding on to the ball. If you escape the pocket before you really need to, things break down. The sustainability of the offense is going to be so. These are decisions. And these are things so now your offensive line is not going to be as effective. And if you're running game, and then the coaching staff, I mentioned that. Ben Johnson's got
his O-line.
Your O-line, but you got to understand what your players can and can't do. You're still figuring that out. And then Ben Johnson's never been a head coach before, so he's making mistakes. And then you've got Dennis Allen, who's a veteran, but it's a new team, and the players don't quite fit what he does to be successful yet. So they're still figuring that out. And yes, the defense has done a shit job, no doubt. But I don't think the defense is the problem, because the defense could have given up 62 points, and we still are 0-2. The defense could have given up 52 points, and you might still be 0-2, because the Bears haven't scored 50 points collectively yet. Am I wrong in that? It's like 45.
When's the last time the Bears have ever scored 50 fucking points in one game?
That's not the point. The point is there are a lot of problems, and the defense.
You are 100% correct. And to sit here for almost 2 hours talking about offense being the problem is absolutely absurd to me.
Because what was the problem coming into this season, the last couple of seasons?
Shitty coaching.
I'm talking about as far as personnel goes. As far as
bad running back, run defense.
IOL. Interior offensive line, number one.
The offense, and arguably the offense was the bigger. We felt that the defense only needed minimal.
Exactly to my point. Like, so why are we sitting here talking about offense when the defense should have kept us in these games? We scored 21. We scored 23 and 21 points in 2 games. That should be enough to win a game.
What was the Lions' time of possession?
Foster, I can almost promise you that the difference in time of possession between the Bears and the Lions this past game was a whopping 40 seconds.
Here's the thing. If you're looking at statistics and you just look at the numbers, it seems like, that shouldn't be a bigger issue. But when you go and watch the game, tell me it doesn't feel like the Lions are doing whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want. And I'm not done. And you're looking at a Bears offense that's off the field in 3 plays, and the defense is going back out there again. Then they're off the field in 4 plays, and the defense is back out there again. Those things, you can't separate those things and say off time of possession, because the Bears could have taken longer to score. Doesn't mean that they're necessarily being effective and efficient. It just means it took them longer to fucking score. Whereas the Lions are like, we scored in 4 plays. It took you like 12. We scored in 4. So the time of possession may balance
all over the place in the meantime.
Right, but the Lions are getting the ball 2 times to every 1 time you have.
Yeah,
it's all connected. Is my point. You look at go to the Minnesota game. The Bears were dominating for 3 quarters, but what happened in the second quarter and the third quarter? The Bears' offense got stagnant, and then the defense is out there more. And then the momentum goes the other way. And then the offense, they don't score again until they're 2 scores down themselves. If you look at the game, you come away saying, like, man, if the offense just played, I don't know, effectively better, converted here or there, the defense isn't out there. If the offense scores an extra field goal, I mean, think about it. The defense scored a fucking touchdown. Those 24 points or whatever points it was, 7 of that came from the defense. So the offense,
and we got a field goal off another turnover, I thought, in that game.
Yeah.
So the offense is a big problem and is putting extra pressure on a defense that's still figuring itself out and not healthy. So I'm not going to grow grade the defense as much because there are some mitigating factors going in. It's not a pity party, but I'm like, yeah. In that game against Detroit, what happened? You lose Edwards and Jalen Johnson in the game. Those are probably 2 people you can afford to lose the least at this point in juncture.
Yep.
And so then that becomes a rolling ball, a snowball from hell.
Brisker right after.
Yeah, and that becomes a snowball, rolling snowball downhill thing. So then it becomes even more problematic. And then what happens? The offense is struggling again. So yeah, you in the first game, the special teams was more of a problem than it should have been.
I was just gonna say that, and then special teams buries you on top of some of this in between. So it's a no-win, man.
So looking at the statistics, although they can verify and help whatever point or points a person is making, and it's fine. That's what they're there for. They're a measuring tool to help you understand. I don't think you can just look at them exclusively and divorce from actually watching the game. And what do all the coaches always say after the game? They may have a paper and see success and say, I got to go back and look at the tape. I got to go back and look at the tape. I got to go back and look at the tape. Go back and look at the game, and you're like, yeah, the defense is bad, but fuck, dude, we didn't help them out at all. And we're so used here in Chicago that our defense being so dominating that as Bear fans, we're like, fuck, if we had any kind of offense, we'd be good.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes, you might be in a situation where, the pitcher needs the batters to stay out. I can't keep coming out there and trying to pitch no hitters or one hitters, and you guys aren't scoring any runs.
But I mean, like, at what point can we look back on it and go, if we would all have hoped that if we, like, let's just say, for example, Luke Getsy, we were dominating and won a bunch of games, went to the playoffs with Justin Fields, and then Luke Getsy gets picked off by the fucking Lions and becomes their offensive coordinator. And then we're sitting here watching this game, and the Lions and we kicked the Lions fucking ass with Luke Getsy being their head coach, because we were like, Luke Getsy is what made us. And we got our ass kicked by them, or we kicked their ass, I should say, at that time. It's because we, like, Lions fans. This is why I'm like silently like happy for them that they did win that game in such fashion, like auteur, like that. I almost expected this. I called a lot. I very rarely call a Bears loss in the game, but I called a loss in this game. I called 28 to 20, 20 or 21 or something. But they kicked their ass in convincing fashion, and I'm almost proud of them for doing that. Listen. I'm sure any Lions fan in this chat can agree that we took the biggest asset to that team and made them our head coach like 4 days after they lost the playoff game. And it must have seemed odd to them. It seemed odd to us as fans, like, wow, now we lost this game to the Lions and he's our head coach. And it just kind of feels like, so they pegged this game on their schedule as a game to make a statement, and they did. And whether or not we can blame, Caleb in the offense or Ben in the offense or Dennis Allen and the defense, to me, it seemed like a game that was hard enough to overcome as it was because of the circumstances. So getting blown out almost seemed like I walked away from that game at a fucking watch party for Sports Zone Chicago with my cousins And we left there and we went and got some Johnny's Beefs at on Elmwood Park on 64. And
You son of a bitch, and you didn't call me there. I could have walked or rode my bike.
I apologize. I'm an asshole.
Bastard.
But like, I have not been mad about this loss since the loss, and because I'm kind of proud of the Lions for performing the way that they did against a division rival in a statement game, like a revenge game, and I'm pissed off that Dennis Allen couldn't control the game as well as he did, and it's just like score. At one point, so if you look at the metrics of the game, they scored 5 touchdowns in a row out of 7. They scored 7 touchdowns, 5 in a row, and we just could not stop them. At some point, I just gave up and said, this is just them being like, "Fuck you, Bears. You took our main guy." Like every Lions fan,
the Bears didn't take him. He left.
But
Stop saying that.
No, like
if there's anything about Ben Johnson, if there's anything about Ben Johnson, it was they probably
he's going to be a coach somewhere this year.
Right. They were probably sick of Ben Johnson made them. If there's anything they're pissed off about, it's them having to hear Ben Johnson made them. And I'm sure Campbell's like, "Hey, he didn't make me. I hired him. Remember that." Well, but it wasn't because the Bears took him. He was going to be somewhere coaching.
Well, how would you feel?
That's a compliment to your coaching acumen. If you have people leave, so Aaron Glenn left too. By the way,
yeah,
are they pissed at the Jets because he left?
Well, if they played the Jets they're not pissed game at the Jets. Yes, they would have done the same thing.
No, it's not because of the Jets or the organization. It's anything. It's to say, hey, don't just let you know. You didn't make us, we made you. It'd be more at the coach, not the organization. They're not mad at all I'm saying is redirect your like, yeah, they want to teach the Bears lessons. Yes, I agree with you. Did they want to hammer the Bears?
The fans are mad. The fans are mad.
Yeah, but it's because we're going to teach Ben Johnson a lesson, not teach the Bears. Yeah. That was a message to Ben Johnson. And by extension, the Bears, but it wasn't because we're mad you took our coach. They don't. These motherfuckers leave every year. If they have success, they go. That's part of it.
Fuck you.
No, it's different, man. You don't normally lose a coach to a division rival. Like if we lost Luke,
nobody moved the coach. He wasn't
really. Because I'm pretty sure the Washington head coach came from Dallas. Yeah, that happens.
No, not directly from Dallas.
Yes, directly from Dallas.
No. He did not leave Dallas.
He was
to go
yes, he did.
He literally did.
He went from Seattle.
No, he didn't
to
get
Atlanta.
Fired.
And then at Atlanta, he got fired and went to Dallas.
Yeah, he got fired from
Atlanta.
He
was elevated from the defensive coordinator because if you remember, Dan Quinn actually his hat was in the ring for the Bears.
It was.
But
and then the offensive coordinator they got
wasn't he fired from Dallas?
No, he left.
No.
Why you keep trying to find something to fit your narrative when we literally are telling you?
You're out of here, Glenn.
See, I actually had
took that long to pull you.
If I couldn't get Harbaugh or Johnson or like Vrabel or like McVay would be the guy I want, but I might be crazy. One was on my list.
Yeah, it happens. It doesn't happen all the time. I agree with you, but it does happen.
Well,
and no one's mad. No one's mad at the organization because you're mad at the guy for leaving, not the organization for offering him a thing.
All right.
Especially in this day and age with free agency, there's no loyalty like that.
Giants fans and Saquon Barkley, man.
Let's just say again that Luke Getsy had developed our team and. Justin Fields had thrown for 4,000 yards and 50 touchdowns and, all that shit. And then we watched Luke Getsy leave to the Lions or the Packers or the Vikings. We would, as fans, be jacked the fuck. And we all know that we would hope that the Bears would have been able to move on from that and go, listen, we didn't need you. This is a statement game to say, fuck you for taking our best guy.
It's not for the organization, is what I'm saying. It's not no one's mad at the team for taking for the guy going to. They'll be mad at the guy for going to that team. They'll look at Ben Johnson like, oh, you went to the Bears? Oh, okay. Well, just to let you know, we're going to be kicking your ass twice a year now. Not because we're going to teach the Bears a lesson. That's a fan's kind of loyalty. The players don't have that kind of loyalty to the organizations that it goes across. We want to beat the other team because our coach left. It's
not
free
according
agency.
to the Amon Ra St. Brown, the St. Brown podcast. Have you seen that yet?
It's not about the Bears. It's about Ben Johnson. You want to go there? We're going to show you.
But it is about the Bears because it is Ben Johnson. It's the same point.
Your focus has been
Glenn, I
they want to
love
be
you so much. This is why I love when you zag, when I zig. I love you, man.
I agree to the point, but I think it's misdirected. You're saying it's the Bears, and I'm saying
it is the Bears.
They're not mad at the Bears because Ben Johnson.
They are.
No, they're taking it out on the Bears because Ben Johnson's
the
there.
fans and the players.
They're mad at the Bears,
but they're not mad at the Bears.
Well, why
it's
else
Ben
would they
Johnson.
take it out on the Bears unless they're
But
mad
wait,
at the Bears.
Guys,
They're not mad at the Bears.
Who are they? Who are they?
The Lions.
The Lions, the team, or the Lions, the fan, or the Lions, the organization?
Both.
He's saying the team.
All of it.
He's saying the team.
All of it.
The team is going to want to beat the Bears anyway because it's a division rival.
Right.
And that Ben Johnson goes there, it's like, oh, okay, you Ben left us to go to them. Okay, we'll take this with you. It's not, and we're going to teach the Bears because they took our guy. No, Ben left. Ben was going to go somewhere.
And we get to beat the Bears, which we need to do anyways. We better do.
Listen, this is why I know we will win the next game against the Lions because this game is out of the way. It's in the past. It's out of the way. They got their revenge game against us.
Revenge? What did they need revenge for? They didn't lose to us last year.
Totally a revenge game. Because we took
That's not
the guy that made
revenge.
the Lions. It was
Revenge is I'm getting you for doing something to me. The Bears didn't do anything to them. If I leave and go somewhere, you mad at the place that I went to because it was there for me to go to? Or are you mad at me for leaving?
Okay, let's say that you and I both
answer that question for me. Answer that question for me.
I'm about to. You and I both work for the same. Let's just say that you and I both work for, one of 32 soft drink companies. So you work for Pepsi, I work for Coke.
What? No super chats?
And you worked for Coke.
No Coke, Pepsi.
Work for Pepsi. Wouldn't it be in your own
mad
mind
at me
that you want to prove that Coke was wrong by letting you go to Pepsi, and vice versa? Pepsi would be pissed off or Coke would be pissed off that you left for Pepsi, and they would be like, as an organization, trying to find a way to. If you developed some soft drink that was more popular than Coke because you left Coke and went to Pepsi, wouldn't it behoove the Coke organization to make Pepsi look stupid in some shape or form? By the way, Scrolls, thank you for your super chat. What? No super chats? Scrolls. If I'm wrong, I know you're going to say I'm wrong. I love you.
Again, it's Ben was leaving, so you're happy if you're the Lions, you're happy for Ben because he's been part of your success. He's been with you through the downtime.
But if you're leading,
I'm trying to follow your logic. So you're the Lions fan.
So
the last 3 years,
I worked for Coke.
I'm listening.
And then you went to So if you worked and I own Coca-Cola. You worked for me for Coca-Cola. You didn't leave for Coca-Cola. You left, or you didn't leave for Pepsi Cola. You left to go work for Boeing to become an engineer for their airplanes. Well, why the hell would I care? But now you leave to go to Pepsi Cola. Now you're a rival. So now we're rivaling each other because we're in the same division.
But you're not mad at Pepsi. You're mad at me for leaving.
Exactly. Thank you.
But you're not mad at Pepsi.
The Bears are Pepsi.
So now the Lions
Glynn
fans
is Ben Johnson and the Bears are Pepsi.
Right. The Lions organization is pissed off at you for leaving to go to your division rival. This is a fucking division
Shorty,
rival.
you know what?
He didn't leave to go to the 49ers or the Bengals or
Chose the Bears.
Ben Johnson didn't leave to go to the Panthers.
So why is he mad at why be mad at the Bears?
Not choose the Chicago Bears?
He chose
What are
the
you
Bears.
talking about?
He chose
Why?
the Bears.
Why not?
And he could have gone other places. We know that.
He chose the Bears.
He chose the Bears.
You're mad at him, not
Shorty,
the
if you own Coke, can you get me a job, dude? Because I can't make it anymore, man. Life's killing me.
I told you, you can come do. We just talked about this on my ride down there. Come do my roof, Foster.
Oh crap! I didn't mean
like,
work.
fuck that, I don't do roofs anymore. No, you can't. When you leave your team to go to a directly into the division to compete against you as a division rival, it builds that hatred even more to make this game that we just played an absolute statement game to go. They probably ditched everything that they knew how to do offensively that they learned from the new offensive system, because we can assume that they had to take some plays from Ben, and the new offensive coordinator is developing his own plays as well. But when it comes to the Bears, fuck you. And if they played the Jets this year, do they?
You're mad at Ben. It's Ben. It's not like they're revenging on the Bears. The Bears didn't do anything to them. Ben was leaving anyway. Ben chose the Bears.
Yes, the Bears, not the Jets, not the fucking Patriots.
How long are we going to continue this?
I don't know. I don't understand. Yeah, I think we just kind of have to agree to disagree because.
Agreed.
Yeah, we can. And there is a bunch of questions, man. There's a bunch of questions. There's a question for you, Shorty. There's a few for Glynn. I think there's a question from somebody in the chat for the chat.
Should we get to the chat and answer some questions about our debates here?
We could keep talking about the same crap.
We could talk about something else.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff that's starred. Do you want me to pull everything up in chronological order? Or...
Sure, let's go with that. Let's just fire them at. Let's just go.
Because I'm sure they have questions. Yeah.
Aldo asked this a measly 2 hours ago. For our audio listeners, he asked, and I'm sure Aldo's very high at this point, so I hope Aldo appreciates this. Aldo asks, some people think that Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson are not suited for each other. Caleb needs less structure. Ben needs a more structured quarterback. Glenn, your thoughts?
I think it's still way too early. I can understand why people are saying that because Ben, when you get someone like Jared Goff who can be pinpoint with his accuracy, is part of his success is his ability to.
Wait, pause. How did he become such a good quarterback? It was under Ben. Just to keep going.
No, he was a good quarterback when he was under.
No, he was not. He was half the quarterback he is now.
Well, he's older, but he wasn't a bad quarterback. He didn't become a good quarterback under Ben. He was a good quarterback under McVay. He became more efficient and better, but part of that's him too. He's him growing. It's not all Ben. It goes hand in hand. I'm just saying, you have to have things.
Like Ben Johnson should have been the MVP of the league last year, in my opinion. Like he had a game where he was 15 of 15. He had a perfect game last year. He had several. He had 5 interceptions and threw 4 of them in one game. Like that was Ben. That was Ben teaching and developing.
How did they look against who did they lose in the playoffs last year? Was it the Eagles they lost to?
Redskins.
Oh, that's right. They lost at home to the Washington Commanders. And let me see. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that a younger Jared Goff got to the Super Bowl with McVay. But he got to the Super Bowl. And he'd been to several playoff games. And he once McVay got there, he turned from being what was perceived a potential bust to being like, oh, that's right, you were the first pick in the draft. I'm just saying,
where he should have been the MVP last year, in my opinion.
Okay, I can't argue that if that's your opinion, how you feel about it. I mean, he's not throwing the passes, but okay. If that's the case, then you should. Who's the GM? His name's escaping me right now for the Lions.
Brett Holmes.
Brett Holmes. Thank you. He should be the MVP.
No, Ben Johnson should be the MVP for getting it out of him.
For the sake of time, are we moving on?
Yes, let's
they
move
had
on.
a statement game against us and kicked our fucking ass deservedly. And I'm
Brett Holmes made the trade to bring Jared Goff there, but anyway, let's totally forget that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Glenn. McVay identified he needed a better quarterback to win a Super Bowl, and that's what happened. Next question, everyone.
I'm going to prove you wrong, Glenn.
Next question, and I'm very ignorant to this, so I hope you guys can pick up the slack. From Zach Sullivan, he asks, does the Duane, or I don't know how to say that name, Dunn article factor into the polls rant? Lots of bothersome items reported in there.
You know what? I digress. I hadn't read the article yet. I've had a few things go by, so I have to read that. So Zach, unfortunately, I'll have to answer that a little bit later on next time.
And unfortunately, in my neck of the woods, I think that was released or was brought to light around the same time that, and I hate to say this, CHGO brought on a liar and suggested that Caleb Williams had a mental deficiency. So really cloudy stuff for me. And again, I have no idea what's going on with this article, Zach. I apologize.
No.
Well, that answered his question because the Dunn article had nothing to do with anything anybody said tonight because nobody read it.
Right. I didn't
Fair
read
enough.
it. I saw what it was about, but like I knew. Like
Arthur's so mad.
I thought so when the book came out about Caleb Williams and his not wanting to come to the Bears and all that shit. They said the book is going to be released, 2 days before the season starts. I was like, okay, we're going to revisit this all over again, and it's going to be like so annoying. But then, boom, unexpectedly. This asshole, who, by the way, is a former Packers beat writer, Packers fan, if you want to say, quote unquote, brings up this article just to spit shine the fucking Bears deficiencies and, make us look bad. Oh, Don Burr's in the chat. Thank you for joining us, Don Burr. Like I expected it to be the other way around. I expected it to be about the book, but no, it was about a new article who happens to be a Packers fan beat writer talking shit about the Bears, and we're still talking about it. Like that article was absolute bullshit, and I don't give a fucking shit what he says. He can go fucking eat a dick. He can eat a bag of dicks, as far as I'm concerned. I didn't read the article. I never will. It came out before the season. It was all about. In my opinion, there is like some kind of conspiracy against the Bears because if we ever had a great quarterback and we had a Tom Brady type quarterback or a Patrick Mahomes type quarterback, like we would overtake the country. There'd be like a random, Tuesday or a random, Sunday noon game, the Bengals versus the fucking Chiefs, and we'd hear like chants, "Let's go Bears! Let's go Bears! Let's go Bears!" in a random game, and I conspiracy.
So you think that the league is conspiring against the Bears as a charter franchise with a major city?
I think that we should get to the next question. Joe.
Yeah, let's go to the next question.
If Caleb Williams was allowed to be developed, I think that we would take over the entire league, and they're afraid of that.
No, Bersky said that we should bench Caleb Williams for Tyson Bagent. It's been 19 games. That's enough. We need to bench him, Dan.
Yeah.
Next question for Glenn.
Make thousands of fans in Europe again, and then
we're going to see his development happen.
Bears fans again.
Next question for Glenn from some idiot, the Lions My Podcast, whoever that is. Have we already seen, or I'm sorry, has the NFL already seen the best of Jaden Daniels' career? Tongue out emoji. He was awful against Green Bay. Has the NFL pantsed Cliff Kingsbury yet again? Smile face.
God.
Look at Glenn.
A lot of people are going to look bad against the Packers this year. Jared Goff, who just tuned us up for 5 touchdown passes, look bad against the Packers. It's one game. So I'll say this. I said to somebody else in one of my threads, the guys I used to work with and stuff. I'm like, look, he's like, hey, your boy Jaden Daniels look pretty bad. I'm like, okay, if every 20 games he looks bad, I'll take that 20-1 ratio as opposed to looking good in one game for every 20 games.
Who would those little Redskins play in week 1? Wasn't it the Giants? They didn't beat the brakes off the Giants.
You don't have to. It's the NFL.
He sure wishes he had Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, I mean,
Daniels.
He definitely needs another receiver, maybe someone with a little more size.
Like a DJ Moore? I'm just kidding.
By the way,
someone with some size.
When in our lifetime will the Packers fuck off and die? And by that I mean
you can't have evil without good. You can't have good without evil.
Probably as soon as they piss off APAC.
I
had to do it. I'm sorry.
The Vikings, the Bears, and the Lions we've all fucked off and died over the course of the last 40 years. But the Packers keep going from quarterback to quarterback to quarterback, and they keep winning and winning and winning. When in the hell will the Packers fuck off and die?
Don't know, but things are cyclical. I mean, the Packers weren't good in the 80s. They really weren't. The Bears were kicking their ass all over the place.
Since then, they will just not fuck off and die. That's what I'm like. Fuck Green Bay. I'm sick of talking.
They weren't good in the 70s either, Glenn.
Yeah, or the 70s. They were just slightly better than us from time to time, but with Lynn Dickey throwing to James Lofton. But yeah, they weren't very good. Yeah, it's cyclical. But no, I think Kingsbury and the Washington Commanders, I think they'll be fine. I think they learned how to win last year. Last year it was last year. This year is different. Teams are going to come at them differently because they've got a full year of tape of content on Jaden and some of the other players. But I think Dan Quinn's a really good coach. I think he's a solid coach. I think Cliff Kingsbury is getting better as a coordinator. I think they'll be fine. I think that 10-7, 11-6 is probably a possibility. But the Giants aren't as bad as people think. I mean, hell, they put up a lot of points last week, against the Cowboys. So, it's the NFL, man. Sometimes it's matchups and it's a divisional opponent. Your divisional games, sometimes, obviously the Bears got pants, but sometimes your divisional games are a little bit closer and tighter because those guys know you better than anybody else. So I don't put anything into a close loss or close win against the Giants and a beat down by the Packers because the Packers, they're a little different this year.
And that was a Thursday. Weird things happen on Thursday. Just a little bit of tongue-in-cheek from yours truly. Next question from Mr. Tooch. How much time do you give Ryan Poles to build a competitive roster? And again, someone mentioned this and didn't understand this earlier. It was not that Ryan Poles was extended for 1 or 2 more years. The extension that Ryan Poles got is to mirror the contract of Ben Johnson. Both men, I think, are inked to Chicago contractually for the next, 5 years, including this year?
5 years.
So up until 2030, through 2029, whatever you want to say, right? Floor is yours.
Well, to the thing I said earlier, where we're starting in that window where the Bears every 20, 25 years are good. So 2026 to 2029. I think you give them, I would say, a total of 3 years with he and Ben Johnson drafting collectively. I think you get the same amount of time when you saw Holmes and Campbell start to turn it around. I mean, look, the Bears could very well be 0-5, 1-6, and could turn around. Let's say they go 0-5. You got 12 games left. The Bears could finish 6-6 down the stretch, and it looked better than this 0-5 start. And it could mirror in some ways how the Lions figured it mid-late season, the year they began to turn it around. So I think to answer your question, I get two more draft cycles. And at that point, if it's not done, then clearly Poles is an issue because, again, it's not just the draft, it's also free agency too. You've got to be able to, do well at both, but you can't, you definitely don't want to suck at one and be good in the other because you're imbalanced. You need to do well at both. You have to be great at both, but you need to do well at both.
Shorty, Foster, do you have a direct answer to Tooch's question? Because I wanted to expound on that.
Go ahead. Shorty.
I agree. No, just quickly, I agree with Glenn. 2 more years.
I'm in agreement too, man. I mean, I give really because I said by next year we should be a winning team going into the playoff. From the time Poles stepped in, we should be that. So
if we're not competitive in 2026, Foster,
what?
If we're not competitive in 2026, Foster, I will be disappointed.
Absolutely.
2025, I predicted 7-10 4 months ago, so we're right on schedule for 2025, in my opinion.
Carl,
So,
go
go ahead.
I was going to say, Carl Shorty, how many times we sit here and honestly say we shouldn't expect too much because we are. And like even what is it I think I had him at 9-7. Boy, that was not good, or 9-8.
I hope this is the correct record prediction. Yeah, with Paul and David. So you can see I've got 7-10. PJ and Foster had about 8-9, 9-8. Shorty had 10-7. The collective of our entire channels, again, 10-7. The collective opinion was that we were a playoff team. I think 10 wins is good enough to get to the playoff. Yeah. The chat thought we'd be 15-2 for the record, Glenn. I don't know if you've seen that before. So.
I wish you were here for our record prediction, Glenn, because you could add that to that and just keep records of that. And I have no doubt that you would probably be correct.
Yeah. So the question and part of the question from Tooch that I want to expound on, I'd love to hear Glenn's thoughts. Do you allow both the combination of Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles to select another quarterback in the NFL draft with high capital, whether that's a first round, second round, God forbid they trade up into the first round? Do you let that happen if necessary? I have a very strong answer on that. But
only if it's sooner than later. I think I don't.
Oh,
I'm not saying that you should, but if that's the case, it would have to be sooner than later. To Shorty's point, in terms of you don't want this carousel of in and out. So take the Giants for example. They just drafted Jackson Dart, and they're hoping that they can keep their jobs because the whole Saquon fiasco, the whole the quarterback that's with the Colts now, Daniel Jones. No, I'm saying the whole Daniel Jones situation. Where you kept him instead of Saquon, and you're trying to, Dable gets here. Daniel Jones is already here, but Dable was like, "Hey, I did Josh Allen. Jones is an athletic quarterback. I know how to coach. I'm sure it's part of his selling point. I can get this guy right." And it looked decent the first year, to make the playoffs, win a playoff game on the road, and then it just goes from sugar to shit after that. And now these guys, especially after what they did was televised or shown on Netflix, and the whole thing that you had a choice between Saquon and Daniel Jones. You let Saquon
and now you got none.
And so now you go on to Jackson Dart. It's like the question you're asking, do you let these guys start anew? And this is what we saw here in the Bears, where they let Pace and Nagy draft Justin. It's like, well, do you entrust them
to significant trade up?
Right. But it's like, you're really only giving those guys 1 year to try and make something phenomenal happen in a year that Justin wasn't really supposed to play. That's why you brought in Andy Dalton. So to your question, I'd only do that if it was you said next 5 years. It'd have to be in the 2027 draft. If it's anything after that, I don't know that I want to trust that. But again, that's a lot has to go wrong for that to be the case. So, and then, who's coming out in 2027 that you think would be as good, if not better, than the guy when you had the first pick? See, it's also problem is Justin was 11th pick. You took the first pick overall. Like, if you could get the first pick right, why am I going to think you're going to pick later than that right?
That's a really good point. Yeah, I mean, Bryce Underwood, I think, is a true freshman for the University of Michigan. So you're looking about 2028. So we won't go down there, guys. But that was my next question. You answered it already. Was essentially what would have to go wrong for them to need a new quarterback? Because again, I keep referencing
Caleb doesn't want to be here.
Yeah, doesn't want to be.
Right.
Like
Caleb gets so frustrated.
Caleb wants to trade.
Caleb gets so frustrated. His dad, Carl's in his ear. Everybody else is there. I told you it wasn't going to work. They don't know what they're doing. They're not developing you. They ruin your career. You need to leave when you can. Do not sign an extension because you're talking next year is when they have to decide whether or not they're going to do the pick up his after the end of next year. They have to decide if they're going to pick up
going into his fourth year. Yeah,
I don't know when you're allowed to do that, right? But it's called the fifth year option.
Fifth year option. Usually these guys decide. You can do it up until the fourth year, but usually by the third year. Usually by the third year is when you say, this is a guy we want to keep and want to build around him, because then that fourth year, you're trying to find enough money and you want to sign him as soon as you can because you don't want him to get to the 5th-year option. At that point, he's insulted and he's definitely going to be leaving. Blah 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 blah.
Well,
so,
you can use the 5th-year option to like smooth the gear over to let that huge contract hit. I've seen that with Mahomes and Josh Allen. So
no argument. You could, but we're talking about moving on to another quarterback, things are bad. So you're talking a frustrated player on top of it, and a player who the onus of, I came to the organization, everyone told me I shouldn't come here because historically this organization doesn't know how to develop quarterbacks. This is a place where quarterbacks, this is a place where careers come to die. I'm out.
So I think that the answer would be pretty obvious, and I'll just say it. I think outside of an 0-17 season, I don't think that there's any way, there's no rat's ass chance in hell that Caleb Williams is not the starting quarterback for the 2026 season. But outside of that, I mean, is there any way that he could play himself out of it so badly? Like, could you see that as a possibility?
I think it's more of, this is just not working. It's not so much the wins and the losses. And it's more so that's a byproduct of the frustration. It's not working. You said it earlier, or someone asked a question earlier. Are Caleb and Ben suited for one another? Like I need a different style. I need a style that's more like Cliff Kingsbury. This under center thing's not working for me. This play action offense isn't working for me. I need something where I'm in the shotgun and I can see and I can assess and I can use my athletic ability. He's stunting my growth. He's not making me be me. I don't feel myself. Unlike Justin, who might keep it to himself, Caleb at some point may say it in some form or fashion, whether it be through a book or be through somebody else. He'll articulate it because he's erudite with his verbiage. He's very much knows his mind, and his ability to communicate is good, and he has enough charisma and personality that he could say it in a way so he doesn't look like the villain as much. It can be situated, or the narrative can be created enough that the Bears fucked me up. And
I love the word erudite that you said. That's a perfect word.
And the fact that there's so much Bears history to back that up, just it'll be like, you know what, I tried, I really did, I was committed while I was here. It just isn't working out. So I don't think it has to be so much that he has to be bad that he doesn't want to be here. It could be he's frustrated because of a lot of different things. And the byproduct of that are the wins and losses, but it could be, I'm getting hit more, or, he doesn't do what I want to do, or, that's not a good marriage. And then he might want to go somewhere else where he feels your system works better for me. I don't know whose that would be, but that's the only way I can see it. Now, if you're asking me, do I think that'll be the case? No, but is it a possibility? If you have any percentages, I'd say 10 to 20%.
I've thought about that a lot.
Because, and here's the thing: the reason why I say this, because some of those tenets are out there already. The book, and Carl, his dad, saying what he said. Look, I remember before when the season was still happening, when he was his last year in college, and it was around November. And I think I said this on CHGO. I was like, look, if I'm his father, I said if I'm his agent, I doing whatever I can if he doesn't come to Chicago. And I'm a Chicagoan through and through. But if I'm his agent, I'm not thinking as Glynn, the Chicago. I'm thinking as his agent. I don't want you anywhere near Chicago. I'm gonna get you somewhere else because these guys, they might mess you up. I'm gonna get you somewhere else. And if I was his agent, I really wouldn't push it for him to go to Washington. If for no other reason, just because it's home and whatever. Not because I'm saying retrospectively I knew that Washington had success. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying any place other than Chicago. Washington makes sense as a place because that was his hometown. That's where he was from. Yeah. Or New England, or actually not New England because they look pretty toxic too. But anybody other than Chicago, I'm trying to do what Eli did. Trade me. You don't want to draft me. Trade me.
That's some pretty drastic measures, in my opinion. I think this is a good segue into Tooch's follow-up question here, essentially saying, and very real possibility, unfortunately, if the Bears are 0-4 heading into the bye week, what advice, Glenn, would you give to the Bears management?
Yeah, I think I said that in the first hour. Trade DJ Moore. I think you need to trade, and maybe even Cole Kmet. Now, are you asking me, do I want them to leave? No, I don't want. I want them to stay, and I want the success to happen because I think they're very good players. But I think this will be the second. If they're 0-4, I'm going to venture to say they're probably still being underutilized or misused, or both. And if that's the case, it's like, why do I keep running my primary target? Why do I keep trying primary receiver? Why do I keep trying to put him in the backfield? Which is a clear indication you need running back help. He's not Deebo Samuel. You don't have to treat him like Deebo Samuel. He's a better receiver as a receiver and route runner than Deebo Samuel. He's not necessarily a better athlete, but you got Luther Burden. Luther Burden's younger. Luther Burden's built more like a running back than DJ is. Luther's got that size. He's got, he's a little heavier, and he's more electric with the ball in his hands. He's
more dynamic.
He's more dynamic.
He should be our punt returner.
And I think you'll see that going forward. I think they'll start utilizing those special teams.
Yeah, if he can't break through to get onto the field as a wide receiver, which is no slight to him, Zacchaeus is a lot better than anyone thought. Wide receiver 4, I mean, second overall pick, 39th overall pick in the second round.
Right.
Get the guy in the field. Get the ball in his hands. Even when he's getting the garbage time returns on the kickoffs, he looks electric. Get him on punt returns, man.
But to answer Tooch's question again, if 0-4, I'd say even after the Washington game, especially if you go 0-5, to the point, that's a revenge game, Shorty. When someone did something to you and you return to the scene of the crime, you want to get them back. That's revenge. But if the Bears are,
so Tyreek Stevenson is actively having a revenge game every single game for the Bears. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Yeah, he's revenging himself.
What pisses me off about that game is they set us up the same way. Coming off a bye week, going into Washington and playing them. At the very least, they should have made it them coming to Chicago.
No, I want to go back. If I'm the Bears, if I'm on that team, I want to go back to Washington. I want to go back to the scene of the crime. I want to beat you in your place. It means more. Because that means that means you don't have a mental edge over me any longer.
And I can't wait for the stupid, silly Disney-inspired ESPN graphic it's going to have on Monday night with the googly eyes and like, oh, Tyreek Stevenson, what are you doing in the crowd? Like, it's going to be so annoying. It's going to be the longest week of our Bears fan life.
Yeah, but trading DJ and Cole is what I would probably do at 0-5.
So I don't know if we touched on I touched on DJ Moore. I told you I feel like you could get a first-round pick from a Super Bowl contender, and I don't know if you agree or what you think would be fair compensation. I'm more interested in what you think you could and would be satisfied in getting for Cole Kmet, because this is a guy right now on paper should be a tight end 2 for a lot of good teams. Maybe a tight end 1 if you simply don't have one, but I don't know how that shakes out, so I just don't know.
I trade a team like the Rams. I think he'd fit good on a team like the Rams. There are a few other teams. I mean, I don't know how adept a route runner he is because we just haven't utilized him enough. But Goddard's a little bit banged up. If you're starting to see that there could be an issue, that it could be something throughout the season. A team like Philadelphia makes sense because they find ways to put you on there, and then they could utilize you.
Glenn, you've done a lot of educating for myself and the viewers today. Let me educate you on something, okay? If Howie Roseman calls you, hang up the fucking phone.
Well, this is why you call them. Anyone, if Pittsburgh or if anyone from the state of Pennsylvania comes offering you a deal, run. But if you're coming to them with something,
it's just the wide receivers. I'm not interested in that DK Metcalf crap, but once you get past that, there might be some deal to be made. But specifically with that general manager, if he calls you, right, hang up. If you call him and say, hey, we've got this lovely tight end, Dallas Goedert's out for the season, you need a tight end to go for your Super Bowl run, Cole Kmet for a second, you're not going to get no second, but that's what you'd start with.
Yeah, or it could be Washington. I mean, I would try to go out of the conference if I could, but a team like Washington, Zach Ertz is getting up a little long in the tooth, but I can see Jaden, throwing in. But I mean, I think there's a lot of places that can use Cole Kmet. The upside is here's what I'm selling. Here's how I'm selling Cole. He doesn't have that wear and tear like a lot of guys might have.
For sure. And he's a locker room guy. He obviously loves the Bears, so that's going to be a little bit hard of a sell. But man, that's going to be, maybe I'll put up some sort of video as like an intro for the podcast that we do whatever day that will be before the Washington Redskins game, right? Will Cole Kmet leave Washington, whatever the case is, something silly like that. So
The
we'll
Buccaneers could use him. They don't have a premier tight end. Cotton's decent.
I feel like they
Kmet-
have a good pass catcher, but yeah, like their second tight end is a blocker. He would fit well in that offense. I like that shout.
Yeah. So there's
But
places.
again, what are you gonna get?
What you get from? I would say you probably get a 5th rounder for him. Maybe if you're lucky, a 4th rounder if a team is good enough, because it's going to be a low pick in that round.
Something I learned in this past NFL draft is that essentially having one of those top early picks in day 3 actually does have value. Not that it's a necessarily good player, but it allows you to go after a player that you want because it's early in the draft.
Yeah,
So,
or it becomes trade value for something else. You can package it with something.
No,
I think
no
with DJ,
terrible team is going to want Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet's going to be wanted, if anyone, by a good team. So
right, and I think for your DJ question, I think 1st round is a bit because his numbers don't mandate it over the last year or so, but I think you could definitely get a high 3rd. I think you get a high 3rd for him. If you get a 2nd rounder for him, it all depends if it's a good team. I'm telling you that there's not the value. Sometimes we overvalue our own players.
True, that is very true. But when DJ Moore was acquired by the Chicago Bears in that infamous trade with the Carolina Panthers, it was unanimous that DJ Moore was effectively a 1st round pick, undeniable at the time, and his value has gone down. I accept that.
And
let me tell you, very true. The talk of the town right now is with the New York Giants. There are 2 options. A, DJ Moore for Kayvon Thibodeau straight up, because you have to pay Kayvon Thibodeau. Or B, DJ Moore plus X. X can be whatever the hell you want it to be for Dexter Lawrence, I think is the defensive tackle's name. So that is an option, and that's something that's floating around the social medias hot and heavy right now.
I don't know.
I love how you just got him thinking for a second.
I think if you told me Kayvon was a guy that had back-to-back years, if he was like as productive as Aiden Hutchinson to some degree, then the Giants probably wouldn't be going to get rid of him. That's one thing. But I think for Thibodeau to get what you want or would expect for it to be significant enough, I think he needs other players around him. I don't know that he's like Micah where he can get off the blocks on his own enough and create enough havoc. He's good when he's good, and when he's not, he's not. I think that's too sometimey a bit. I would say you can still draft an edge rusher, and they don't always show the first year. Sometimes the edge rushers, it may take them like 2-3 years before they really start to show. Micah's a little different. You're talking, it's super exceptional player, but sometimes these edge rushers, you're starting to see some of them come around now. Like there was a couple of years back, there was a nice group of edge rushers coming out, and like the first year or so, it's like, man, like what happened to them? And now I'm starting to see the names being called more, and they're starting to show better. So at that point, I'd almost say I'd rather draft and maybe, trade DJ for. I don't know if I want to trade him for another player per se. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think about that.
Personally, would much rather have the pick. I totally agree with you there. I do think a Kayvon Thibodeau is interesting if it's just a straight up scenario. Again, it's just one of those situations where if you look at it from a glass half full point of view, and you do have to pay Caleb Williams a boatload of money, and you do want to keep his running mate Rome Odunze in Chicago because he's a good player as well, there's simply not enough money to pay everyone.
Well, to your point,
when you draft a pass-catching tight end out of the University of Michigan with the 10th overall pick and follow that up with an elite wide receiver prospect, Luther Burden, at 39, the writing is on the wall. I don't know why it was so taboo 5 months ago to identify this. DJ Moore's got to go, plain and simple. So.
Yeah, to your point too, I don't want to, if you get as far as asking or getting or trying to acquire Thibodeau, there's too much money in that one position between Adiengbo and Sweat, and now you got to pay Thibodeau.
Yeah, I could find the specifics if you want. I think there's an out for Odengbo in the next year, but you'd really have to make it work. But yeah, you're totally right. You simply already have a very highly paid pass rushing duo. You're getting no production out of it.
Right.
I don't know,
That's
Shorty,
the
if
thing,
you have
too.
anything to add to this, anything you'd like to interject, but I do have another question from Vizojo.
My interjection is that we are focusing way too much on the offense. As we wrap this up, first off, I want to thank you, Glenn, again for joining us. And he knows that he has an open invite on this show, and he might be joining us more than you guys in chat know. And if and when you do, Glenn, I just want to say, first off, I want to say thank you for becoming a friend. And you are our longest tenured guest on this show, the most shows of any guest, going on like 15 or 16 now, or 17 or 18. And please, 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 please come back as much as you want on Thursday nights with us in place of PJ while he's coaching for a college team. It really, I love the zig to the zag that we have on the show from you. It truly adds a different perspective. That's not just like a meatball fan being an idiot and hating on this or hitting on that. But Glenn, you offer you are a fucking true professional in your profession. NBC Sports Chicago, fuck them for getting rid of you. It's their loss. And you have an open invite to this show, and we would hope that you would come on here anytime with us. So please join us in PJ's.
Only if you promise. Only if you promise to revenge on Eureka College, because PJ is there.
To what?
To revenge on Eureka College because he's there.
Oh my God, the Ben Johnson, the Chicago Bears argument. Yep.
I'm just messing. I'm just messing.
Like, Glenn, we love you so much, man. You are one of our biggest fans and friends of this show, and your perspective is always just so. It adds the warranted argument to the show that I think we need. If everyone agrees every time, it doesn't make a good show. If everyone disagrees every time, it doesn't make a good show. But you always have your zig to my zag personally. Like, I came on here thinking again that I was wrong. You keep proving me wrong every time, and I love that about you, man. So I want to thank you again for that. And please join us every single week you can on Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. When PJ is gone and after that, like, you're welcome here anytime. So thank you for that. And I'm just going to give my last thoughts to say the defense is the problem. That's my
Glenn, watch how mad I can get him very, very angry. The 5th highest paid defense in the NFL in 2025 is your Chicago Bears. There you go.
First off, again, thank you again, everybody, from yourself, Fosters, and Carl, for you guys, and PJ as well, for allowing me to share in you guys' platform. I truly do appreciate it. Thank you. Carl, never stop with the stats, man. I like when you pop those up. It gives us more to visualize and see and think about.
Something
never
tangible
stop
for the chat.
Yeah, never stop checking everybody, because everybody needs to be checked. That's a cool thing too, because then you anybody can say something, and when you challenge it, as from what I learned from grade school and stuff, when you're writing your paper, you have several reasons to back up your point. Whether you're right or wrong, have several reasons to back up your point. And from that, you can go forward. So that's the critical thinking that I think everybody, whether it's sports or things in life, we all should apply. Because just taking things that somebody says so, they'll be in your pocket before you know it.
And to your testament there, Glenn, like, Carl, your production of this channel it's top notch, man. Like, I equate you to like the Jamie of the Joe Rogan podcast. Like, you are right there, proving us wrong or right. You're pulling up with the stats like this. We've done polls and all tonight. we've done giveaways, and you've done like the perfect Excel sheets to make them happen. Like, Carl, you are an amazing producer, and I want to thank you so much, man, like, for what you do for this channel. Sometimes you piss me off because you fucking.
I promise that's by design, like knowing I'm going to
you will
piss
not
you off
shut
just
the
to get a
fuck up.
rouse out of you, whether for my own personal enjoyment. So
When I'm
nothing
trying to
personal,
talk,
no personal vendetta, nothing mean. I'm doing it again. You know what I'm trying to say.
You interrupt the hell out of me like you are right now.
Wait, what are you saying? Hold on, stop.
There's no love lost.
Wait.
I'm gonna keep talking now because you just shut up. Oh, I can keep talking. Look at this. I have a free spot. Like seriously, you do such a great job, Carl. Thank you.
I agree.
I appreciate that. Thank you, gentlemen, both very much. I want to throw up the chat poll. Kind of, it's a little segment to end the show all the time. We call it "Polls Got This Shit." So it's the chat polls. I'll get that in a second, but I do have a couple more. So this one again from Bizojo for Glenn, asking what percentage would you put the blame on the scouting staff? So not specifically Ryan Paul.
Oh,
Well, Jojo, I'm going to blame you for spelling my name wrong. It's Glynn. It is
Bizojo. How could you?
Is it pronounced Glenn or Glenn?
I don't hear the distinction as much. It's just like Lynn with Glenn.
It's
So
Glenn,
it's,
yeah. I always try to say Glenn when I'm saying your name.
if I hear Glenn over Glenn, I'm losing my shit. But if I see you spelled wrong, that's when I lose it. But anyway, so your question: what percentage do I blame on the scouting staff? Percentage.
That's a great question, man.
I'm going to say 30 to 35%. Because at some point, the players still need to. I don't know why my thing just went blurry all of a sudden. Do I look blurry to you guys?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I don't know why that happened.
I'm laughing at Jediah Harper. It feels like an episode of Laverne and Shirley.
maybe it's because it's probably the best way to look at me. It makes it blurry, so I don't want to hurt the eyes. Oh, I messed it up. So you guys back clear again. Yeah, I say 30-35% because the players still need to, like Tyler Scott's an interesting case. Like I liked the draft pick when they took him. But sometimes, you fall through the cracks because the development doesn't happen. Now, how much of that is on you? How much of that was on the coaching staff?
The quarterback, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah. Other things are obviously involved. But the reason why I'm not saying hire is because there have been some players, like I said, the team, there are good players on the team. There's no great player. So do you blame a staff for getting a lot of good players? No, that seems kind of, that doesn't make sense. But I can't fault you for not finding an exceptional player. But then again, Odunze's only in his second year. He may be an exceptional player. He looked really good the other day. When Caleb throws a good pass, I'm not talking about the ones where he's running to his left or right. I'm talking about the times where he sits there and he layers a pass. When he layers a pass over the linebackers in between, the safeties, it's like, yeah, you can do this. There are times where it looks like, okay, yeah, he's a talented player. Offensive lineman Darnell Wright. I'm like, I don't know now. It seemed like he should be, and then you see a person like Jalen Carter excel, but would he have excelled here? Environment has a lot to do with it too. Yeah, maybe not. Environment has a lot to do with it too. So. But then I blame the coaching staff or the scouting staff, when it comes to, well, how did no one think that any of the other quarterbacks were good enough? When you're drafting a punter, who sold the GM on the punter should be taken in the 4th round? Amagaji. So you got a guy that's a bit banged up from Yale, and that was what, the 3rd round pick or 4th round pick? Or late 3rd round pick, something like that. Yeah, 3rd round pick. You drafted Baylor.
Currently, we haven't even brought up the injury report. He's dealing with an elbow injury after apparently he was switching to guard after 1 year after being drafted to having elite measurables at tackle. So yet another swing and a miss because Ryan Poles knew the kid's father on the golf course, called Ozzie Trapillo and said, "Hey, Ozzie, did you know that your dad and my dad played together at Boston College? It's just bullshit."
It could be. I went to Tennessee. I'm a big Volunteer fan, Vol for life. I'm still struggling from that Georgia loss. But Velus Jones, okay, I get it was a lean year. You're trying to do a lot. You're coming in, it's your first year. You're looking for a receiver. Here's a guy who is a bit mature because he was older, so he wasn't like a really young player. So you think, okay, he's got some maturity. And you're looking for a person who could be explosive because he had the speed. So you're looking at a punt returner, a special teams guy with some receiver upside. Put him in the slot. You can see him stretching the field. How did you just miss on the lack of catching? And then the other issue is you stuck with him for as long as you did. So you're not finding any other receivers that can come in and challenge him. So that's where it's like, the scouting staff. So, and what are you being asked to scout for? And then the offensive lineman, how much is that on the polls? How much is that on the scouting staff? What outside of secondary and whoever the secondary coach is or the person who's the secondary part of the staff, well, that's now, but prior to, and whoever's the coach and or the individuals on the scouting department who deal with the secondary, they've done an excellent job. That is the only
I
unit.
think that was Eberflus's specialty, by the way, was the secondary for the record too. So
okay, so that is the only unit to me where you got good players who have potential to be a little bit better than good, but you got solid players. It's like yeah, and then Smith is hurt, so it's a lost year. Stevenson, the knucklehead factor is the only thing holding him back, but acumen. I mean, as far as athletically speaking, he's pretty much there in a lot of ways.
I'm sure you've heard this, Glynn. Currently, passer rating against Tyreek Stevenson, a perfect 158.3. So he's not perfect by any stretch.
No, but there are times where I can see, like, yeah, he has the ability. Does he have the capability? And that's where it becomes a bit of an issue at times. And it's you got to have the focus. And right now, I think it's off, and that's why he's looking worse this year than he did the previous year. And then Gordon and Briscoe were good picks as well. So I think, and getting Byard is a solid get also. But so I say 30-35% as long as I answer to a short question. But yeah, I say 30-35% I would put on the scouting staff.
And fair enough. We've already talked about this ad nauseum. Tour is just asking how many guys have made it to the Pro Bowl under the Poles tenure specifically. That answer, of course, is 0. Just wanted to bring it up because I think it's ironic and, in my opinion, the most talented, not the most talented, I would say the best player on the Chicago Bears in this exact moment in time, and I know the player's hurt, is Jalen Johnson. And Jalen Johnson was not drafted by this regime. The only two holdovers from Pace are Jalen Johnson and Cole Kmet.
You're giving me a fucking ulcer right now.
Kind of a very, very silly thing. But for the sake of not letting this drag out much, much longer, everyone, Poles got this shit.
What is...
Shout out to Cliff Victoria. So, the results from tonight's chat poll. There's several of them. We asked the chat, would you rather have as a head coach currently for the Chicago Bears right now, Ben Johnson or Jim Harbaugh? The winner out of 29 votes was Ben Johnson at 55%, so a very, very close vote. Should the Chicago Bears trade DJ Moore? Out of 17 votes, a whopping 65% said yes, we should trade DJ Moore.
I was one that said yes.
Yeah, I did too. I think a lot of us did. What is your biggest issue with the Chicago Bears currently? We asked our chat. Out of 19 votes, 73% have the biggest issue with the Chicago Bears being Ryan Poles. Next, my vote, Dennis Allen. And actually, no, oh, wow. I may be the only vote for Ben Johnson, and he was only at 5%. But again, in order. Ryan Poles at 73%, Dennis Allen at 15%, and Caleb Williams at 5%, shared with Ben Johnson. Again, out of 19 votes. And then, of course, we just recently asked, how much time do you give Ryan Poles to build a competitive roster for the Chicago Bears? Out of 9 votes, 45% voted 2 years, 33% 3 years, 22% 1 year, and no one voted for 4+ years. I voted 2 years.
By the way.
Yes.
And that's 2 additional. You're saying like one,
2 additional years.
not including this year, 2 more years after this one. You're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so essentially the word years probably should have been draft cycles. I liked how you said draft cycles. So I think the majority are in favor of your opinion and our opinion, Glenn.
Nice.
Guys,
that.
let's get to our chat before we say goodbye, because you guys have been fucking awesome tonight, blowing up our chat. I never got to say hi to you, Armando Lara Jr. You've been here in the beginning you weren't here, so we didn't get to say hi to you. But thank you for joining us tonight. You and your lovely wife Patty for joining us tonight. You know them, Glenn, from Sports Zone Chicago. I love those guys. Had a great time this weekend watching the Bears game with Sean Sierra. That was amazing.
I've got to watch a game with Sean just so I can laugh at him losing and raging out.
Dude, have you met Sean in person?
I'd be the same way.
Have you met Sean Sierra in person?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We've hung out a couple of times.
Dude, that guy is a solid fucking brick house.
Former NFL running back, or at least projected, definitely a college running back, right?
Pro running back. Like, dude, he's like a little bit shorter than me. I meant to pull up the picture that we took of us, but dude, shake his hand. It's like you're getting crushed by it. You just you pat him on the back. You're like, gee, what is this? Am I patting a brick wall? Like, Sean Sierra is solid as fuck. Like, if he was a running back coming at me as a defensive lineman, I'd be worried.
Well, you'd be bigger though, so you wouldn't be as worried.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But
not like DeAndre Swift, right? Like, you're not scared of DeAndre Swift, but Sean Sierra, holy fuck.
By the way, Sean Sierra gave me the best cigar I've ever had in my life. I took a picture of the label so I can buy another one. It is the absolute smoothest cigar I have ever. I was toking on this, and I'm like, I'm gonna take a little inhale. I'm like, wow, this is like the best cigar I've ever had.
Dan, tomorrow in Sports Zone Chicago's chat, if I thank Sean for letting him smoke or letting you smoke on his cigar, he won't take any offense to that.
Don't do that.
Sean, thank you for letting Dan smoke your cigar.
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't. He'd be like, "Oh, you're welcome, shorty."
No, he'd have that like patented elongated pause, and he'd look at me and through the chat, and he'd be like, "Oh, okay," and then he'd just continue. That's exactly how it would go.
Would like brush right past the fact that you were making some kind of insinuation. Otherwise,
I think he'd realize it, and there's look. He does this thing where he like looks at you and is just like, "Oh, okay," and then you just move on. That's weird. I like Sean. Sean's awesome.
Glenn can attest to this. Sean Sierra is an absolute amazing human being, and
I believe it.
That's why I got this shirt from him. I want to wear it tonight and promote you. We promote him on the show. Like, please check him out. 9 a.m. Central Time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's an amazing show. Covers all Chicago sports, including Bears, mostly Bears, but it's Cubs, Sox, Bulls, Blackhawks. Bears. Great show. Please check it out. Armando, love you. Thank you for joining our chat because of Sean's and your lovely wife Patty. Melon Smasher, Jediah Harper from being here tonight. Let's just quickly get through the chat before we end the show. Mr. Mayhem, can I just say, like, you are the man, dude. Like, you have been here from day one on this channel, and thank you for your support, Mr. Mayhem. Thank you for your support. I wish that when people buy, it's random when people buy memberships for other, like Aldo did tonight. It's a random thing. It doesn't just go to like. I wish you had one so you could see the previous shows. The membership shows that we do for you guys. The pre-show that we do for you. If you hadn't already have one or had received a gifted membership, I'm most willing to like just try to give you one because you have been here from day one, Mr. Mayhem. We love you and thank you for your support. It truly means more than you know, man. Melon Smasher, Jediah Harper.
Can I drive that point home real quick? Because we had the fantastic, excellent super chat from Mr. Scrolls earlier, which thank you. Very, very generous. I believe that's the same amount that was donated instead of a membership. So from a financial perspective, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, the memberships I still think are a split, right? Like it's whatever they pay for their membership, BCP is not getting that. So if you're going to take out a cut either way, I think it would be better for that money to be given in the form of a gifted membership so that they can watch the added member content that we provide, as opposed to just simply that money going in our pockets. So,
agreed.
Again, no slight to the Scrolls, very, very generous. Thank you. But just keep that in mind. If you guys are interested in donating, I would first consider donating a subscription, a membership.
John S. It's Crimson, you dig, hanging out with us tonight.
Crimson, let me tell you, I see Crimson on Bearski Film, on Adam Mason, even started seeing him on the Barroom Network. So he's just one of those guys, man. He's part of the fam. So Crimson, really, really appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. Moving on, like there's so many people all night, 3-hour show in our chat. Like
a lot of chatter, I'll call it, from Twitter, especially from Aldo, Barroom Network, just saying how fantastic of a show. And obviously Glenn, huge part of that. Just enjoyable listening to you backstage, all these good things. So special shout out to Glenn. Thank you.
Zach Sullivan. My goodness, it's so far to go up in here. And Cliff Victoria, we love you, man. Thanks for hanging out with us again tonight. Hope you're well. David Ekbal.
So important.
So many people that we see in other chats that are here tonight. Like, it's way too much to go through right now. But you guys know who you are, and we know who you are. We love you, and we appreciate your support. Glenn.
Yes, sir.
Or I should say, I said Glenn. I meant to say Glenn.
It's fine. As long as you spell it the right way, I'm good.
Like, you have just become such a big fan of ours and vice versa. I love getting a text from you like, can I come on the show this week and rant? Like, are you fucking kidding me? So I said, just join us. PJ is gone for a while. He's doing his coaching stuff. Please come on here every Thursday that you can possibly do that. And you agreed to do it whenever you can. So we might be seeing more of Glenn, and we hope to see more of you. And like, I just can't express my love to you more than I can by saying, like, it's so great to have made friends with you. We have each other's phone numbers. We talk. You came on the show like during the draft at Lambeau Field. That was so special for us. And I just thank you for becoming a friend, and thank you for joining us as much as you do and more in the future. And it really means more than you know, man. And we'll try not to keep you so long in the future when you join us. It's just, but you do talk a lot, so you take up some time, yeah. But it's warranted. We love hearing your opinion.
Yeah,
you're a superstar, man. You worked for NBC Sports Chicago, bro. Like, you're a draft analysis. Like, your thoughts and opinions matter, I guess, in my opinion, more than ours. So, thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And no, it doesn't matter more than anybody else's. It's like, what they say. It's like opinions are like, what, everybody's got one. So it's and thank you for saying that. But no, truly, I like being able to listen and talk. I mean, the big part of communication, really listening. I know I talk a lot and I interrupt from time to time, but I'm listening to what you guys are saying all the time. And I try not to assume too much. And just for me personally, I just take every opportunity as an opportunity to get better at talking, listening, and communicating. So again, thank you guys for the opportunity to do so. Thank the chat for all their questions, for their involvement, and for them agreeing and disagreeing, because that makes the world go around too. So I just very much appreciative for what this channel offers, and
nobody could possibly interrupt more than Carl does. So you're fine.
I'll choose not to take offense.
That's a good thing.
I was debating APAC. Take it. We're good.
And thank you, Carl, for all that you do. You do such a great job. It's much love and appreciation. It's all in good fun, guys. Everyone watching this right now, to all of our co-hosts right now, Glenn, Carl, PJ in your absence, Foster for leaving the show early.
Think Foster's still listening.
I'm like, he's gonna be sitting here like waking up out of his coffin, and the show's still gonna be going on and on the StreamYard. But we love and appreciate you guys, and we'll see you again next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be back at my own home with my background like I normally have, and as we always end this show on a fucking ridiculous way of doing it, because most people say bear down, but no, I like to end this show on a ridiculous 1, 2, 3. Bears.
Fuck Green Bay.
How have we gone another show without saying that one time until 3 hours and 23 minutes into the show? No idea.
You got it.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Giddy up, groove, stay. You down with BCP? Yeah, you know me. You down with BCP? Yeah, you know me. Integral, grind exponential. You down with BCP? That's the way we rotate radially. You down with BCP? Down with BCP? You down with BCP? You down with BCP? That's the way we do things limitlessly. Yeah. You down with BCP? Yeah, you know me. You down with BCP? Let's blow. Switch the flow. Shift the tempo.